No, I got to take a
And we
leak.
lost Rob.
Oh, did
I
we?
don't see. Yeah,
Oh
it
man.
still says he's streaming, but what's up, everyone? Now we're live. Oh, there he is. Now Rob's back.
All
There we go.
right.
Sorry,
All
did
right.
that work? It
Yep.
suddenly
Yep.
puts me elsewhere. I'm like, oh shit.
It's actually, I've tested it a bit. If you get disconnected and just have to log back in, it actually picks back up pretty well. So
Yeah.
I think we're okay. Or if you like shut off your phone or something by accident. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, let's be official hosting, and I'll say I'm Jason Hall. This is Chuck Gibson and Rob Norton. We're all trying to co-stream together to do some cool art and talk comics because we all do it offline anyway.
Heck yeah.
And yeah,
That's right.
this it's going to be a little clunky because this is our first time trying it. We just spent 40 minutes working out the kinks already.
Be gentle. It's our
that's-
first time.
Yeah. But a couple more streams, we'll be getting 1 million followers and we'll be experts. So get ready. Get in
That's right.
while it's slow and there's nobody around.
I like
So,
the way
but
you
yeah,
think.
co-streaming to all 3 of our channels too, which is cool. So I also too, you guys, next time I'm going to set up an overlay to have all our sort of links and stuff too, because I can show this on it, which this just has mine right now, but it'll show all our links so people can find us from whatever channel later on. But this is just mine, so I'll hide that little overlay. But yeah, what's up, guys? We're finally up and running. So let's see. All right, I'm gonna go showcase our pages too. Like, well, I'll be working on the first page of layouts for my comic, the Punished comic. So we'll get into that. But also, Chuck here is working on
I'm gonna look at some bread.
Staticky. Oh yeah, is this the one he just posted today? I got a notification that he posted a new one
Yeah,
on his Patreon.
he did just post this a little earlier
Sweet.
today.
I saw the title and I was like, "Ooh, I got to see that," but I hadn't looked yet. So
Well, and
cool.
since I don't want to print in 2 parts, I'm gonna do this digitally because otherwise, like I can't do this 8.5 by 11.
oh
You know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
there's that last one I did of his. I like cropped off the sides and was able to fit enough of it to make it work. But
yeah. I've even tried to print 11 by 17 layouts on paper and tried to tape them together, and it's all funky. So it's better to do
Yeah.
it digital. And then Rob here. What's up, Rob?
Hey.
This is your 90s parody comic of Rob Life. What was the comic? It's basically not Battlestone. It's
It's an issue of Bloodstrike.
Bloodstrike. That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
the sequel to the severed phallus.
Yes. Yes. That was never addressed. And I just feel
Yeah.
the need to tell that story. And so
Yeah.
I guess it's a
And-
thing to do.
Yeah, it's worth going to see the video too on your channel where you review it because it's freaking hilarious and it's a great precursor to this and it'll get you excited for.
Can you guys see,
this.
is this streaming on my, I can see that I'm looking on my iPad and I can see it streaming on your channel, both of yours. And I can't tell if it's working on mine. I'm not really worried if it's not. We'll figure it out, but.
Yeah, I can go. I have it on my other computer here. I can check yours real quick while we're chatting and let you know.
So I can see live on yours and live on Chuck's, but I can't tell if it's doing it on mine.
I'm looking right now.
Yep, you're live.
I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rob and
Okay.
Friends drawing. Yeah.
Okay.
You are live,
I
sir.
can't tell on my end, so that's fine. We're good.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, okay. So you guys put in your own titles for the streams. That's cool. I didn't know if mine named all of yours or mine because I named mine the best comic artist that ever lived in the entire universe. So I'm the only one that's not very humble here. So
All right.
That works. That works.
yeah, sweet. All right, and then and then I'm the only one with their ugly mug on camera today because people are just too shy, I guess. But, that's how you get viewers.
No one wants to see my face. I just want to show my drawing.
I'm just gonna stream like this. This will be my stream.
There you go.
Yeah. We're gonna just go wait. That's gonna
That'll get
gross.
some subscribers.
Yeah, people will log in and be like, "What is that thing?" It's like a butthole or something. All right. Cool. All right. So Rob, you were telling us a bit about yours. This is the first page of the whole comic, right?
Yeah.
Coming
The idea is that I
recap.
just got the main guy centered, and he's basically going to be talking to the audience, and then there are just some panels, or they're not even panels, they're just images in the background explaining the very basic premise of the actual first issue that Liefeld did, just so you can get caught up. You know, if you haven't read the book, you can be like, he was fighting some ninjas, then he fought his ex-girlfriend, she beat him, cut him in half, and strung him up. His buddy showed up to regenerate his body, and it's only then when he finds out a certain part of him was chopped off, and he's pissed. And oh, by the way, there's this big giant bounty hunter on his tail too that's coming after him. That's just the basic premise, and then from then on, the book will take off into my own warped direction.
That's awesome. And your little tiny drawing of the ripped in half guy, the anatomy and pose is already better than Rob's full page spread of that.
Yeah.
Rob, I have to say, man, your summaries are great. You would be the master of the elevator pitch.
Yeah, for sure. That was very quick and concise.
Yeah,
and I'm excited.
Right.
I've thought about it for a while, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a comic where a hero had his junk cut off, and that's the MacGuffin, and he wants it back, so that's what he's chasing.
The funny thing is too is that. Oh, go ahead.
If I'm the executive, I'm greenlighting that immediately.
Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna fund this and let's do it.
The original image of Rob's too of the severed phallus is it's like it's not a great drawing in itself. If you saw it out of context, you wouldn't realize what it is. You'd think it's some weird slug or sausage or something.
Yeah, it's a dune sandworm in a jar.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's like, dude, that's not what yours looks like. Is it? You know, is that your only reference? I hope it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I appreciated that he went that direction, that he decided he wanted to go that crazy. I actually appreciated it. So I'm like, okay, what happens next? And he never answered that question.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's amazing how many books he goes off on. He never follows the tangents he sets up.
Yeah. So I just felt the need to do it. So here we are. But yeah, right. for context, you know, that's.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, what is that thing? There's not even like a head. Like, did she cut the head and the base off?
I know. It doesn't.
I wonder, was it on purpose to not be too obvious for the censors? I don't know.
But what doesn't make sense is that the character had his body severed in half. And so then his other buddy shows up and regrows his body, right? But it regrew everything except that.
Oh, yeah, it's a Ken doll.
Yeah. Well, why did it regrow his entire body from the lower waist down? Arms, legs, toes, booty cheeks, but not.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what's the regeneration thing? Maybe the penis is too complex.
Yeah. It knows. So, yeah, I know it might sound weird to anybody watching who doesn't get it, but this is what I'm doing.
Good chugs.
So can we tell if there's anybody watching and live chatting along?
Okay, so on your phone there should be a way to see. Oh, I see you guys sent. Oh, there's some comments already. Oh, Count Chocula's here. What's up, dude? So yeah, if you guys go on the phone where it's streaming, there should be a tab to look at the chat. There's a private chat, or I mean comments. Yeah. There's private chat and comments. So yeah,
there we go.
We got Moopersan and Count Chocula in here, which Count Chocula never misses. What's up, dude? I've been getting to know Count Chocula from your stream too. We were up late last night, all the three of us, and Mr. D-Man. There's a guy. Did this guy Nauseous? Did he come from your stream? There's a guy on Twitch that every time I stream there, he jumps on. He's in Australia, but he only finds me on Twitch, which I'm not streaming to right now. So.
Oh, I think you mean Nate.
Yeah, it's Natius.
Yeah, his name's Nathan Judd. He's from Australia. He's been part of my channel for a long time. He's streamed with me once or twice before.
Oh, cool.
He's a good guy. He's hilarious.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's been jumping in through Twitch, I think, on my last couple streams. And is it Nauseous then? Because he said it's pronounced like nauseous, I think.
I saw him say that, and I didn't know that until he pointed it out. I couldn't translate what he was what it was supposed to be, but now that I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is another thing I can do with it. I can say, I can preview people's comments. Count Chocula, the junk doesn't have the healing factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's Moopersan. He's in here too.
Yeah, he's been on mine a bunch of times.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been on Twitch and well, I watch Twitch a lot, but I haven't streamed on Twitch. But it's so easy to co-stream from here. But once I can show everyone, I don't want people to be wondering what people are saying that they can't see. So I'll get Twitch up later. All right, let's image. Yeah, here's Chuck's thing. Man, I kind of want to jump in and do one of those ink one of those Brett Booth things too. Maybe just to practice inking. But I don't know. I haven't really inked anybody else in so long. I like how my inks turn out on myself, but someone else I might totally suck.
It's interesting inking digitally too. It throws different challenges at you. Like I've learned to, like a multi-character piece like this, you
Yeah.
got to do a folder for each individual character so that you can do multiple layers going on for each character. Because yeah, I've got some weird work methods. Like I've got a hotkey set up to where I can create a layer like on the fly, just with a flick.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever afraid I'm going to blow it on a line or something, I just do it on another layer and then drop it down. Does that
Okay.
make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that works. Oh, Shocula. It's Brett Booth actually, not Art Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Booth did get good, man. His stuff is so good nowadays. I've heard he's really fast too, like extremely fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My understanding is he is not as fast as he once was, and that's
Oh,
him saying that.
yeah. Maybe the what I heard was them talking about how he used to be then, assuming he was just still fast.
He used to be pretty insanely fast, like a couple pages a day kind of fast, which for a
Wow.
guy with his detail level, you know.
Yeah. Oh, here's Mr. D Man. What's up, dude? Yeah, I always assumed he was slow because all these guys with this detailed style were slow. Kind of like David Finch. I mean, he can keep monthly deadlines now with that same detail. But I remember when he was at Image, he was like, I think he even took a break because he got so burned out trying to keep up with deadlines with that style. And but now, then he came back and did all that DC Batman stuff, and he just cranks the stuff out. He's fast.
I really think you have to make a conscious decision.
Yeah.
You have to make a conscious decision that you're going to work faster, and then you do.
Yeah, and just force yourself. And then I guess you kind of, once you get used to it, you can start bringing in that detail again.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's all left up to you, or if the people like what you're doing, it's dangerous for an inker because so much is dependent upon what somebody else thinks about what you're doing.
Hmm.
You know, uh, but if you're like an all-in-one or you're calling the shots, then yeah, you're in good shape.
Yeah. All the comic guys are here, yeah. Oh, by the way, before I get in drawing on mine too, I wanted to do a little show and tell. I was telling Rob about this on his stream last night, Chuck, but check this out. So I'm gonna share my
Yeah.
screen here. It's so the 3D software I use, it's called Blender, and it's a free software actually, and it's pretty cool. But it has a really good community around it too of people just making really good add-ons for it, like little plugins to do really neat stuff. And one of them is a plugin that will use the 3D Google Maps and import it into your scene fully textured so you can light it and everything. So like check this out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so this is my Blender screen here. I'll show you here. So this is what it brings in. It brings it in like 2 seconds. You can kind of see it's like this grayscale. This is downtown LA.
Wow.
Because for my comic, my Punish comic, it opens up with a car chase through downtown LA in a specific area, and this is that actual area. It's like it's next to this Korean building, high rise, right next to the 110 freeway, which is like right here. And the thing that's
Wow.
cool is this is just the grayscale, but if I turn on the textures, it'll bring in lighting and fog. It'll take a second here. There we go. Yeah, look at this shit.
Oh, wow.
Actually, this is the more of the render. Let me switch it over. It has a real-time one too if I go to EV here. So we can like move around in the scene. Just takes a second. There we go. So yeah, look at this. You can just move real time and like go down to street level. So I have my establishing shot of a car chase going down the street. Well, I'll just find a
Wow.
nice angle between the buildings and render it, and then just draw on top of it. So,
That's
Crazy.
fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool. Yes, Ginger Bear House. Actually, I speaking of Ginger Bear House Studio, I didn't import it yet, but I live just up the street about a mile north of where I grabbed this, so you can actually go look. When you do it, you enable the plugin, and then it opens up a little special Google Maps view, and you can scroll around like regular Google Maps. But then when you find the part you want, you just drag a box over the section you want. You got to keep it kind of small. You can't like grab the entire city in one; it's too big. But you can grab like 2 or 3 blocks worth, and I can zoom in on my house and bring in my house, which is weird. I could probably find your guys' houses too,
I
and
was
just
going to
bring it
say,
in.
can you like go and see where you live, or places you are in like right now?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
That's
I think.
awesome.
Well, I was gonna ask you now, but I don't want to. We can't dox you guys on screen and
Yeah,
like get your address. So no, offline, I'll get your guys' address and I'll bring it up and I can show you guys next time. It's pretty
that would
fun.
actually be really awesome.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's crazy because of how quick it imports. Like you just open that and drag the little box over, and then you hit a button, and then you just wait for like a minute or two for it to import, and then it just pops up in your screen like that. There's
That's
one little tweak you
crazy.
got to do so you can light it, but that's it. It's all pretty automated. I can't believe it.
Wow. That's
Um,
awesome.
Shocula, can you just convert it to lines and tones? Sort of, not really. That's kind of why I'm using it to draw over instead of just a render or something. Because the way
Why
it brings it
couldn't you?
in, well, you could put
Why?
an outline around it and maybe just make it all like white or something, so you'd have like the silhouettes of all the buildings. But you can't render all the windows and everything because those are just textures on it. And the way Google's set up is it's not really formulated in a uniform way. So like each building has like 200 tiny fractured textures that put it. It's something about its sort of automated way of putting together the 3D models in the map. So there's not
Huh.
a way to sort of take it and tweak it, at least not easily. So, but you could just wipe out all the textures and just use the building shapes and put outlines around it, and you could do something like that
Well,
with it.
I think the most helpful part is getting the correct perspective and all that stuff. And then you should, if you're an artist, you should be able to go in and like give it life and rendering and texture on your own, but you got the perspective accurate.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to use it for too, because like I know some people will use like photostats or like 3D renders to do their buildings, but it looks kind of obvious too. So I
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
want to use it, instead of spending forever experimenting with my perspective grid trying to find the best angle, I can just move a camera around and find it and bring it in a scan and then just draw on top of it with my own perspective grid, and then it still looks hand drawn, and you kind of.
I've got something similar that I'm doing in Clip Studio Paint. I've got a couple of little cityscape sets that are like that has several buildings going on,
Yeah.
and I can sit there and manipulate the 3D camera the same way. Now it doesn't do the textures and such like that, but like we're saying, if you use the textures, it starts to look kind of weird anyway. I would
Yeah.
rather just do my own textures so that at least I'm having some input into the drawing more so than composing it.
Hmm.
But what a handy tool, like for real.
Yeah,
Big
it's pretty
time.
cool. So yeah, even if you didn't want textures, you could just like dolly around on this and just put it. You could just keep like this and just put an outline around the edges of it, pretty much.
Dude,
So
you if you took like a screenshot of that and then pulled that into Clip Studio Paint and converted to lines and tones and then just
yeah,
ink right over the top of that.
yep. Although the lines actually go. Well, yeah, you could do it off the tones. Yep, you totally could. Um, and this too. Let's see if this will show up. Oops, I'm off screen. I'm trying to see if I can add the lines to it too to see how it looks here. Let's see.
Here, let me get full screen. I'll get a screen grab of it.
Yeah. Here's oh, I can oh, sorry. I just switched back over to you, Chuck. But I can here, one sec. I'm just getting it set up. It'll actually show it. because I can actually render one out with lighting too, so it'll use the tones better. Yeah, 1 sec here. Edge types. Turn all these off. Oh, it's called Blossom. It's BLOSM. And it's free. It's on the Blender market and it's free. So Blender software is free, and then the Blender plugin Blossom is free as well. It's a little bit of a chore to set it up, but there's a YouTube video that shows how to set it up too, that you can do it in about 5 minutes. So you just have to go create this account thing with Google to get access to it. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I see the screen grab. It screen grabbed Mr. D-Man's comment too. Yeah, there you go. I mean, especially for a skyline, you're set right there. I mean, especially if it's in the background. Oh. Yeah, and if I go into like, if I share on mine again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See what you're doing. You can also, if you put the lines in it, gets a little bit going like that too. But you have to kind of tweak it. If I just do the silhouette there, I just bring up, see if it'll start showing up.
You know, what's funny is I look at that building that you've got there. I know that's an LA building, that center one, that big round one. I've never been to
Yeah.
LA. I don't know the geography, but I do play Grand Theft Auto online.
Yep.
And they have recreated LA, and that building is in there. And I know that building intimately from flying all around it and standing on it and jumping off it.
Yeah, dude. Grand Theft Auto is so fun, especially after living in LA for a while, because I recognize everything.
Right. That's what I was like. I bet this would
Yeah.
be awesome. I bet some people like actually recognize actual streets and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Shockingly, you have Blender too. So yeah, if you go, I don't remember off the top of my head, but if you just send me a message through my Instagram or YouTube, does YouTube have private messaging? Not sure, but if you do,
Not really.
if you send me something on Instagram, I'll send you a link to the video that shows how to set it up. Um, yeah, Cinema 4D has a great comic renderer. There's also a new on renderer called Well, it's not new, but it's called Octane, which has a really good one too. But Blender has like 3 different options for line art too, which are pretty good. So, but I'm gonna switch off this back to the art. Let's see, where's Chuck? Had your there you go.
I'm still playing with this screen grab.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know what I should do too is you kind of layer it up. I could render like a hard black and white render of it too to play with. I wonder if it would work better too if you took a screen grab with the actual textures on it too, because then
Well,
it would like
I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would.
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is I'm not even grabbing from a screen that I have access to. I was grabbing from the YouTube screen on
Yeah.
Rob's channel. So,
Nice.
it's degraded as hell. I'm sure it's probably higher
Yeah.
resolution if you got a screen grab of it right there than what I
Yeah.
just got. But
Yeah, like
shit,
you could just grab this.
that's fairly serviceable there,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, for
And like
pencils, and then you just
oh
ink over
yeah.
the top of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you could just like cuz Clip Studio it's so easy to sort of match the perspective of it too. You could just set up your perspective grid on this, then when you go into ink it'll save you time keeping it clean.
One of the things that
Octane one
I've
is slower,
started
yeah.
doing, one of the things I started doing with Clip in order to save time too is I found brushes that instead of setting up a perspective grid, I've got brushes that just do one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Those are great too. Like, Mr. That's the building that got blown up on Independence Day with all the idiots around. That's it. That's this right here, right? Where they're looking up going, yes! Like all the hippies are on the roof going, yay, they're having a big dance party. Lasted. That's so awesome. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's cool too because you can even like change your lens on your cameras and stuff too, to get really sort of warped angles and stuff like that too. So, but anyway, let me go back to see what Rob's up to here. Speaking of perspective, Rob's got the ruler out here,
Well, I was trying to do keep things
setting up
slightly in perspective.
his perspective grid.
Sort of. I mean, I don't want to have everything look too accurate if this is a Liefeld kind of homage. I want things to be like just faked on the page.
Yeah, a localized perspective for
Right.
that one little panel. So yeah, let me close Blender here though and get back to the art because that's what we're here for. I got my yeah, Rob is old school. Love it for sure. Yeah, so I plotted out my whole book. It's 37 pages now. So now I've been laying out the pages and I've got the first four in here. God, my zoom is so out of control. There we go. So yeah, the first page, I'm not sure if I can even draw it on YouTube though. Let me see. Because the first page here, I'll show you here. Let me just cut this out and enlarge it. Bring it up to full screen here. So it's basically the typical start out in the middle of the story and with a crazy shot, and then you flash back to like how did we get here type of thing, you know. But yeah, it's got the dude in the foreground standing with his machete. It's all bloody and a mutilated body, but then in the background you have like these three thugs he's going after, which are basically in a big orgy with drugs. So there's like boys
Nice.
and girls having sex with them, and they're all three on this big like sort of round couch, and there's a big pile of drugs on the table in front of them and stuff. So, and it's gonna be all full nude and fully raunchy, you know, no holding back. So
That is my kind of comic, sir.
yeah. So how far can I get on it?
I think
Yeah.
I asked you did you have any like theoretical plans on what you wanted to do with it when you get it done? I think maybe you said you were just not thinking about that yet.
Yeah, I kind of just want to get it done and then figure it out. Like, it'd be cool to do a Kickstarter, but I'm kind of that's partly why I want to stream most of my drawing of it too, is to see if people are enjoying it. And then once we get there, there's people that want to crowdfund a print of it. Or I might just
Yeah.
put it online like a webcomic. Like Daniel Warren Johnson, he did his was it Space Mullet comic, which just like blew up, and it was just his own comic he was drawing at his own time, kind of like your Master's End. He was just drawing it as he went after work each night, but then he was putting it up as a free web comic, and then it got kind of popular, and then he ended up doing a print edition and made pretty good money from that. His
See, that
writing's
was
really
my
good too.
thinking too. Is you could do pages on Patreon or something like that, and get a little money as you go, and then once you've got the project completed, then you run your Kickstarter or your Indiegogo to fund the print.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured might happen. So, but yeah, I'll see once I get there, and depend on how close it is to what it's parodying it to. If someone like maybe even Image would want to print it, or some other company, or if I can only self-publish because of rights and stuff. So, because you can tell what it's a parody of just off the name Punish.
But I think if you
So,
make it different enough, I couldn't imagine that would be a big deal.
yeah, I don't think
I
it's really going to be that linked. There's no exact names, and the story's slightly different. It's just similar.
Yeah.
You were asking about the bunny shirt, D-Man. I sort of have it here, but I'm actually redesigning it. You can here. I'm bringing it up here. You can sort of see here. This is initial drawing of the guy, and it was going to have this, but it doesn't look much enough like the Punisher skull. I saw in an anime they had this really cool sort of bunny skull looking rabbit that was kind of cute too. So, because the whole thing is he's wearing the shirt his daughter gave him, which is just like a bunny logo, but looks like a
Yeah.
skull. And then it'll look like kind of like the skull on the Punisher pants. So I'm gonna get rid of. It used to say bunny, and I had him spray painted out so it would spell punish, and then it had the little, bunny logo. But I'm just gonna get rid of that now. It's just gonna be a big bunny skull, and that's what'll be on it. And this is his main look. He's just kind of jeans and t-shirt with all his weapons and his mohawk, which I don't think he's gonna have a whole bunch of big weapons either. Now he's actually just gonna take a bunch of tools from his shop and just go kill everyone with that. So he has like saw blades and hammers and wrenches and shit like
Nice.
that that'll just like pummel people and mutilate them in a more painful way.
Like in Commando when Schwarzenegger at the end when he ended up
Yeah.
in that tool shed and he was like throwing saw blades into people's heads and pitchforks and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's one of my favorite scenes ever. So I am totally
Right.
down for that.
I'm like, this movie should just be nothing but that.
Yeah.
Does it show on your end? I'm just curious if it shows how many people are watching. Does it give any kind of indication to that to you? I'm just curious.
Not
Right now, there are
not here.
13 people watching your channel, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, how many?
There are 13 watching right now.
Okay, on mine?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
looking at your stream, not mine.
Right.
Because I figure you're just going to have the
average
bigger audience.
live stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
I
the
have-
regular crowd in the chat too. It's like D-Man and Chocula
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
All the regular homies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently we have Mr. D-Man, Jeffrey Beats, Count Chocula, Hidden Julie. That's who I see in the Wiley J Draws and
Oh,
Mooper
Wiley.
Sand.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
That's who's
all
chatted
the
anyway.
all the usual offenders.
Right.
Yeah. All 13 are Aussies. That might be true because all the people that watched my stream that came from yours were from Australia. Jeffrey Beats in there too. Yeah. Mark Dummelway.
Adam Brooks. Mark Dummelway.
Yeah. And Adam Brooks. Yeah. It's okay. Are all you guys actually in Australia?
Jeffrey and Nathan, for sure. I don't know if Nathan's in here, but Nathan and Jeff, I know for sure are.
Okay. Well, here, I'll do one more show and tell too, where I start drawing. I pulled these out right before the stream, and it was just reminding me how freaking good Mark Silvestri's covers are. My God, remember this shit? Like, look at that, dude. This is all jacked up, but
Oh, I love that.
freaking God, so good. I was actually looking for his Inferno covers, which I couldn't find. I know I have them in somewhere. Like, he has this one, but he did the other two more iconic ones that are great. But even this shit, like his old Wolverine thing is like, whoops. Yeah, that thing is just, they're all so good. I like how he drew Master Mold too. That was cool. It's just God, every X-Men cover he did was so great.
Hell, I've got a pile of those sitting
This.
right here.
Yeah. Like I have the omnibuses and the reprints that have these in them in the essentials, but man, to see them on the old newsprint and stuff too. Okay, we got Texas with Wally. Oh, Mark's in LA with me. Okay. Yeah, I'm in the Echo Park area, Mark. I'm not sure yet. And then Adam Brooks, Canada. Nice. Canada's about to get an influx of immigrants from the US, supposedly. All the people are like, I'm leaving the country after this election.
Yeah, I can
super
look at
global.
old Silvestri stuff all day. Well, I can look at
Yeah.
any Silvestri stuff anytime, but that old
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
is just so good.
Yeah. I haven't pulled out this old remember this is a trip to look at this old Deathmate he did. It's
Oh
like-
yeah, I've put that on my channel before.
Yeah, it's a weird style. It doesn't look like his typical stuff.
Well, he's inked by somebody else, right? It's
Yeah.
Not, it's not like a Scott Williams or a Dan Green. I think it's one of the Valiant guys.
Yeah, it must be. It actually doesn't say. It says Mark Silvestri penciler. Oh wait, Bob Layton was the writer and inker. Okay.
I was gonna say I think it was Bob Layton, and I mean it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Bob Layton, but not on image guys stuff.
No,
Not
no.
that, like all that stuff. It like it didn't look like the
Yeah.
Valiant stuff, which I kind of liked, and it didn't look like the image stuff that I kind of liked either. It just did not work.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
what
is
is
another.
that?
This is from French Amazon. It's a black and white oversized edition
Oh,
of
it's out. I
um
gotta get one.
You sons of
yeah.
bitches and your French books that you get. You
I
got
know.
the
That's because
entire Weapon
Chuck's who
X
turned
in
me
black
on
and
to it.
white.
Yeah, yeah. Like look at
Dude,
it.
I didn't know that was out yet. I gotta go get that right now.
Yeah, I
Holy
just got it a
crap.
couple weeks ago. It's yeah, even I mean shit.
Is it as awesome as I imagine it is?
Oh yes, because it's oversized too, so you can just stare at all that line work. It's so beautiful.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Now I'm gonna have to go, son of a bitch.
Also, I just happened to have it at random in the box. I pulled those X-Men comics out. I have this old ash can of Barry Windsor Smith's old creator-owned line he was doing, the Freebooters and Young Gods. What were those called? His opus he was doing, and these are pretty cool too because it's got all this crazy sort of black and white art. So, oh yeah, Mark was
Sorry,
saying
I'm
who
trying to
is
order that book right now.
yeah.
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 Where do you go to order it? Where did you find it at?
It's literally French Amazon, like Amazon.fr, and you can just create an account there, same, and order from there. You just got to pay international shipping rates, which could be like $20-25 sometimes.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
But can you have a regular Amazon account and get it from that way, or do you have to create a French Amazon?
You have to create a French one, but you can use the same email and all that stuff too. So you don't have to like create a whole new email and stuff like that. I have all the same login info for that. I also have a British one and a Canadian one. So Mark's asked who is everyone that's streaming. So I'm Jason Hall. I am one of the best comic artists that ever lived, but unpublished. No, I worked with Chuck back in the so Chuck Gibson is an inker. In the past he worked for Wildstorm Studios, and he's let me go back to him here.
Yeah. Mark's
He's
been with the
inking.
channel for a while. I'm pretty sure he knows.
Okay, so he
Chuck.
probably doesn't know the other people. Yeah, so my claim to fame is I used to be Chuck's assistant inking back in the day, when we both lived in Colorado, and I used to go hang out at his house all night. We'd spend all nighters just like chatting comics, and he would have me spend like 2 or 3 hours just practicing filling an entire 11 by 17 page both sides with inking practice, and then before he'd let me touch backgrounds and ruling lines and stuff. So it was super fun though. We would just hang out and well, we would get really stoned too and just ink all night. So
Sounds like a great way to go.
yeah,
I disavow all this. It never happened.
yeah,
He's like, I
Yeah.
don't know this guy. He's a liar.
yeah. He never touched the drugs are bad. He never did that.
I've
Drugs
never
are
done
bad.
drugs in my entire life.
Yeah, but but yeah, and then I haven't done comics since then. I've been actually working in film, doing storyboards and animation, doing previs for the last like 18 years. But I still got the bug again, and I'm kind of burnt out on the 3D animation, so I'm working on a comic as well. I got to get it done before I die. I got to do a comic, so so that's my Punish comic, which I'm gonna just finish. I'm gonna stream it on stream, and then figure out what to do with it then.
Well, that's what I love about comics. If you like to draw, you can tell a story of any type that you want to do, and you don't need nobody's permission. And there's plenty of options to actually get it seen now. So,
Yeah,
comics
yeah,
is
it's
a
so easy.
wonderful, it's a wonderful, awesome kind of option for us all.
Yeah, and like I kind of told you on your stream too, Rob, like I've had like deaths in the family and other crappy stuff that's happened in the last year, and like this is sort of like art therapy. It's like rage art, every time I work on these pages or writing it or drawing them, it's like rage drawing, and it gets all that out of my system so I can act like a normal person in real life, and not be grumpy
Right.
asshole to people.
I get it.
So in that case, I just want to draw the comic, and when it's done, if no one picks it up and it ends up just being a free comic online, that's fine too. But hey, if people want a print copy and could figure that out, that'd be cool too. So
Yeah.
but Yeah, these French. What's with these French rare books? Jeffrey's asked. Yeah, I mean, the French publishing industry for comics is so much better than the U.S. when it comes to stuff like this. So many like hardcovers and oversized black and white versions of American comics that come out. And there's like yeah, if you guys are Sean Gordon Murphy fans, there's also a same size as that Weapon X one. I got one with it. It's the third White Knight series that he did with Batman, Beyond the White Knight. And I got a same size, oversized hardcover black and white version of it. But the thing that's crazy is I got that just a couple weeks ago with the Weapon X thing. But the
Hmm.
American color collected version of that doesn't even come out till June. So not only is France several months ahead of them printing a nice oversized black and white version, like they can't even get the American colored version out here. It's like,
That's
what the hell?
crazy. They're probably printing like the French probably jumped right on it when they had the black and white files while they were still getting it colored.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, how
You
does that
know,
work out too? Because they're in France. How did they have access to that black and white stuff? Because I mean, is it the Marvel? I guess it's Panini Comics is who they printed the Weapon X one with. So I don't know, is that like a whole nother publisher and they just send them files, or is it like
I
French
I
Marvel under a
presume
different
it's
name?
somebody that's licensed it or something. I mean I couldn't tell you for sure, but I
Yeah,
presume it's either an offshoot company of some sort that they're working with, or they bought the license to print the book, or some other sort of arrangement. You know,
yeah, yeah. Maybe they'll just send them all the files, black and white and color, to do whatever they want with, whatever they think will sell, and then they
it
give them
could be.
kickbacks on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's
yeah.
definitely a market for it there more than here. It's picking up here though, because all the new DC books that have been coming out, like all the absolute ones and stuff, they're doing noir editions of each issue too in black and white, which is nice. So
Honestly, I think they could sell this stuff at this point to the fans that are left. You've had so many fans drop off in the last 2 decades that the fans that they have left, these are people that are hardcore and they want to see it.
yeah,
They want to see it in pencil. They want to see the inks. They want to see the colors. They want a copy of the damn script. Let's see it all, man.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want the unplugged
Let's,
pencil version of these too.
like look at that Marvel universe by Art Adams. It's got all those great process sketches and everything else, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm all over that.
Yeah,
And everybody that I know that's seen that book is like, I gotta have it.
yep, yep. Metal Hurlant is actually a heavy metal magazine. They start, yeah. Metal Hurlant and Heavy Metal are both relaunching on Kickstarter right now too, which is kind of cool.
And isn't heavy metal just cleaning up on their goal?
Yeah, I think so. I contributed to it last week, so
Yeah.
and I'm not sure about Metal Hurlant. I haven't checked that one. I was always more into heavy metal. Metal Hurlant, I didn't actually buy the issues, but there would always be collected stories that come out of it that were really good, sort of Mobius style stuff. Whereas, seemed like heavy metal was a little more gritty stuff.
Who knows what it'll come back like though?
Yeah, but it
That's
seems
what I'm
heavy metal
wondering.
has a
Like,
pretty good lineup of artists lined up for it, though.
but yeah, but the tone of everything has changed. You can't like the level of political correctness in the air is different than the way it was in the '80s.
Hmm.
I'm just not sure that that magazine could be that magazine and still be okay with everybody. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I just kind
interesting
of
how
think they should
risque they'll
make
get
it
with it.
anyway. Like, just do it anyway and let
Yeah,
people buy what they want.
yeah.
That's my thought.
uh,
I mean,
well,
they
look, that's
might
kind of where I'm
because
at.
yeah. Well, because they relaunched Penthouse Comics too. Did you know that? That's been coming out for
No,
like almost a year now, and it's on the shelves with all the other comics at my local comic shop, and it's got plenty of nudity and sex in it. So, maybe they'll be able to just go all out on the other ones, especially since they are under a bigger publisher. They're just crowdfunding, so maybe they can just be as risque as they want. Oh, the Andy Kubert X-Men Kickstarter. That's cool. Yeah, I bet that one's beautiful.
They made a lot of money on that.
Yeah, yeah. Those are going to be good books too, because I got the Art Adams one, and that was amazing. Also,
Yeah.
Art Adams Omnibus that Marvel put out. Holy crap! I've never seen such a thorough collection of someone's career of any artist ever. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Bruce Timm art book, Mr. D-Man. He's saying, and I know this guy's controversial now, but I have a Bruce Timm art book, and yeah, I have that one too. It's like a pinup book, right? With like nude girls and stuff. It's really good. Is Bruce Timm controversial now?
I, I
I was
didn't
going
know
to say,
that.
when did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's being sarcastic,
Everyone's
but
controversial now.
yeah,
But there's
I've
so
never heard
many
anything
art
bad
books
about him.
coming out. I can't keep up. Like I wanted to get that Jason Pearson one, but I'm like it was $150, and then there was
Oh
that
yeah,
the Kubert one that I'm like I want that too, but I gotta pick and choose and
yeah.
you
See,
know.
I had to decide between the Andy Kubert and the Jason Pearson one, and I actually went with the Jason Pearson one. Yeah, I'm actually more of an Adam Kubert fan than an Andy, even though they're pretty similar. But I
Yeah.
might have gone with Adam if it was a collective one of Adams. Like Adam Kubert's new Deadpool Wolverine book he's been doing is like some of the best work he's ever done too. It's
Is
awesome.
that a book that's out? I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, it just started coming out. There's only been I think 3 issues so far, so it's brand new. But
I miss everything. Holy
yeah,
crap.
it's cool.
There's too many books, not
Perspective.
enough time.
Yeah,
Well, not enough money is what it is. Is what it is. There's
yeah,
tons. I know that I'm gonna be picking up the J. Scott Campbell one they're gonna do. Although Chuck was saying he's
Oh,
like,
there's a Campbell one coming.
yeah, an artist edition. But Chuck was
Sweet.
saying, and I'm not speaking for you, Chuck, but you were saying like his art is so clean. There's not a lot of grit in it. So what are you gonna learn from it?
Oh yeah, that's like I got a Brian Boland masterpiece edition, which is like the kind of shrunk down artist edition ones, like the artisan editions they put out, and that's similar.
Yeah.
I like seeing it in black and white, but you're not really learning anything from his process because it's so clean. It's like perfect.
Yeah, like when it looks like a print anyway, and you don't see any
Yeah,
tool marks in the paper or nothing, like what the hell are you getting from this? You can't see from the reproduction.
yeah.
Right.
That one I just more wanted the oversized black and white art of his because I like looking at that. I like his line work, especially on that old. Um, it's like the old Judge Dredd stuff. I really like.
Well, now I will say that there are. Let me add this caveat to it. That there are
Oh, okay.
exceptions to that rule. In the case of something like if you had an artist edition of somebody like say Richard Bennett, then that's going to look like absolutely pristine printed artwork as well. But the difference being, this will be the first time you really get a good look at it because he does it so damn small, it shoots down to nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Speaking of which, I'll have to send this to you, Chuck, later. I actually sent that Alberto Breccia art that I was mentioning, Mort Cinder, the book I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
emailed you about. I actually mentioned him to Richard Bennett. I shot him a message on Instagram, and because Richard Bennett's Argentinian, and
Yeah.
I think, and so I was like, hey, do you know this guy, right? And he actually listed out a whole bunch of other books he's done that are really good, as well as his son is really good too. His style's drastically different, but it's still really good. And he mentioned a couple books there to check out. So I'm gonna try to grab those. I'll send them your way as
Yeah,
well.
Bennett was whom was oh, the name popped right out of my head now. The guy that was after Garcia Lopez on Atari Force, Eduardo Barreto.
Oh yeah.
He was Eduardo Barreto's assistant starting from like the age of like 15 or something.
Oh God, no wonder he's
And
so
I'm just
freaking good.
thinking like that, like I wanted to pick his brain and ask, like, dude, what was that like? Because like that was pretty much around the time that Eduardo Barreto was really active. Like he was penciling the Teen Titans around that time and doing that Atari Force stuff. And I've like wanted to pick Richard's brain for a long time. What did you do for him exactly? Did you draw backgrounds? Because God knows he's awfully good at backgrounds. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell where he started because everything was so just like solid from the start, like over the top, man.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. When you get to the point where you're assisting Eduardo Barreto when you're like 15, and then you go to work for continuity and you work for Neil Adams doing finishes over his stuff, and all that shit happens before you make your penciling debut on a Marvel book or an Image book or anything like that. Like, man, he like by the time you knew who he was, he already had a decade under his belt, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's right too. I remember Rob was doing his video on the continuity books, and I forgot that was it Crazy Man or something like that, the one that Richard Bennett drew. And it looks
Cyber
exactly like
Rad.
Neil. Cyber Rad, that's it. Yeah.
I was a
I was like,
big
oh
fan of
yeah.
Cyber Rad.
Yeah, I liked Cyber Rad and Samary. The other ones I wasn't so into.
Yeah, yeah.
Samary just my young pervy mind.
There's only a handful of books that continuity put out that are near and dear to me. None of them are because of the story,
Yeah.
and you know, even though the art was consistently pretty high level, it would kind of wobble around a little bit, and some books were much better than others. Sometimes it was pretty bad. Sometimes depending upon who they got, and yeah, yikes.
Yeah. Yikes is right for some of those, man.
But
God.
there's only
Especially the titles too. I never pay attention to the titles Rob was talking about. I'd be like, Mega Man with Samary, but it's Samary Book 2, Mega Man Volume 1, starring, so and so and so and so. It's like, well, what book is it?
Yeah.
Is it a Samary book? Is it
yeah.
a...
Honestly, I think for the time that he was trying to do it, like in the mid to late '80s when he started, uh, to me that was the guy that was trying to do Image 5 or 6 years before Image got around to it.
Yeah. The thing that surprised me is since Neil is always been such an advocate for artists and credit and stuff, he was so bad at crediting artists in those continuity books.
He was, and I've heard of other things too. Like there's a couple of those caricatures in the 1970s Art of Neil Adams books.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those caricatures in there that Bob McLeod was telling me that he drew those.
Oh
That
wow.
Neil inked it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. But he had drawn those, and I was like that doesn't bug you? And he's like, nah. He took it in stride. He's like Neil probably more or less considered it his.
Yeah.
You
But at
know,
least get a breakdown
you,
credit. Yeah.
well, you'll notice like if you go online and you look at that. There was that job a couple years ago where he inked Rob Liefeld, and and he did what Neil usually does when he comes in and inks somebody else's stuff. He's gonna run you over, and in this case, that's like, hey, a little Neil on top of Rob Liefeld looked pretty cool as far as I thought.
Yeah.
But at the bottom of the page in the margin is Neil's signature. No mention of Rob.
Yeah.
It's
What the
just
heck?
signed like at that point. Like once Neil inks you, like Wally Wood. Like once Wally Wood inked you, it was Wally Wood, man. You were never there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how he thought of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm like spitballing and speculating. Surely, don't sue me. I don't know shit. But you know,
Well, we're no claimed authorities here. Someone was suggesting Rob should bring back Megalith, Mr. T.
Yeah, D-Man keeps saying that.
I don't think that wouldn't be nearly as interesting though as the one you're doing.
I don't
I
even
don't
know
know
what you
anything
would
about the
do with
character.
Megalith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
exactly.
nothing to say about it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So
Didn't Neil Adams kind of do the same thing with Ross Andrew back in the day? Count Chocula was asking. I don't know that actually.
There was. I did hear a story about like the Superman Spider-Man team up, the very first one
Hmm.
in the '70s. They had Ross Andrew draw that, and my understanding was Dig Giordano was working on inks with that, and he was part of Continuity Studios at the time. And I guess Neil, I don't know. It was important to Neil for whatever reason. I don't recall why that it looked good. So he went in and tightened up the faces specifically over Ross Andrews. So it's like the best looking Ross Andrew job you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know his stuff that well to even think of what it looks like normally. Anyways, actually,
Well, I,
maybe
I
that's why.
like Ross Andrew. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, he drew Spider Man for a long time and has that very did a bunch of DC covers in the late '70s, early '80s on all the Superman books, Batman books. Really good artist, depending upon who you pair him with in the inks. You know, like a good inker, it would work. It would put him over because you had the structure and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But like a bad inker, he wasn't going to bring out that shine. You know.
Yeah. I bet I'd know his stuff if I actually saw the covers of the issues. I just don't recall him by name, especially with that stuff.
Well, that look that he was doing at DC, uh, it looks a lot like. Oh, see, that's horrible. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this live. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." It looks like Garcia Lopez light.
Oh, okay.
Garcia Lopez light.
Yeah.
Probably the best way to describe that. Rob's like, "Who? He doesn't know DC stuff with this shit."
I know the names vaguely. They're not unfamiliar, but I don't know the work at
Yeah.
all. So
Shockula said it was Esposito. Yeah. Megalith looks like a
Yeah.
Rob Norton character, Mr. D-Man said.
I don't know how, but
I thought you were going to say Frank Robbins, Shockula said.
Chocula knows all those old artists.
Yeah.
He's a old school fan.
I'm still
Maybe
learning
he's
about
saying that.
artists.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say maybe he's thinking that um, Megalith looks like a Rob Norton character because of the pose on the page you're doing right now. It looks like almost
Oh,
every Megalith cover, you know?
there you
He
go.
just had that
Standing there
boring, strong
flexing.
pose. Yeah.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about artist editions, not being able to afford certain ones, but besides the J. Scott Campbell one coming out, I'm 100% grabbing the Liefeld one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know why I'm excited for it. I shouldn't be, but I'm really excited for it.
Well,
Hey, you know, I don't know why I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for it too. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to get that.
well, I've seen him. He's got out some of his pages on his Instagram, and he's showing like someone's just holding a camera and filming him, and so he's
Yeah.
showing a lot of the black and white pages, and I'm looking at it going, that looks so much better in the black and white than it did in the color print. Why does it
Yeah.
look different to me? So I'm just like fascinated. So I can't wait to see it.
Wiley said, "No dissing Frank Robbins. I love those few Batman comics he drew."
I love Frank Robbins' Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shockula. I believe it's a Youngblood Art archive edition, like the Image Comics version, like the Dragon book that I showed.
Yeah.
It's not the artist edition like IDW or whatever. It's Vault edition.
Yeah, he talked about it on his podcast. It's going to be exactly an artist edition. It's just, yeah, I think it's Vault Edition because that's what that company calls it.
Yeah.
He's going to have a pretty thorough collection too because there's so many of his art collectors in his Facebook group, and I've seen him putting out calls to collect art for it, and people have been coming through. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be lined up for that one.
yeah.
And people be like, "What the hell, dude? you talk so much shit, and then you buy his book and you're loving it."
I know
What
that's
the
the
hell?
thing.
I don't know. Just
It's
I mean,
a
there's the
complex
nostalgia.
relationship.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, plus back in those days, like for that stuff, it's when those guys were all super just young and raw, you know, just kind of Wild West. It's kind of cool to see their process because it was like just do whatever you want, however you want, you know.
There's
Be
an
interesting to
energy
see.
to that stuff that you do not see in modern day comic.
Yeah, dude, modern day comics layouts are just so freaking boring. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is you can see a shift. You can see a shift happen in the mid '90s. Uh, well, especially it begins to really take root in the early 2000s. That shift away from artists towards writers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
because all the image guys
Bendis
left.
begins. Yeah, that's
They
right.
didn't want to bank on
That's
them and have
right.
them leave again. Yeah,
Honestly, I think more than anything else, that is where the comics industry has continued for the last 25 years, the last quarter century to shoot themselves in the dick.
yep,
Okay, like you went away from the artists and you went to the writers instead, and your comics have never sold as well ever
yeah.
again.
Well, I think another thing too. This is pure speculation, but it seems relatively obvious. Is I think editorial is kind of controlling the layouts to a degree that artists choose too. Like, because
Oh.
they all look so similar, you know, like there's the whole image way. They're like, well, you know, you always have like a huge panel or splash on the each page, you know, to kind of draw visual interest. But now it's all very kind of conservative layouts, that's straight storytelling but no excitement across like all the comics. That's why I think maybe it's editorial, sort of being
Like
like
a
you have to stick to this
1950s
formula.
DC book.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, it's not for lack of talent, because there's so many comic artists now and all those books that are really freaking good, but just the layouts are so boring, and it's just like, so it's kind of like wasting their talents.
Yeah, I want some artist. I want another Rob Liefeld to come along. Just some young, energetic guy who picks up a title that no one gives a shit about and just does his
Yeah,
own thing and just generates genuine excitement and it just takes off. Like, how hard can that be? It seems like, I mean, you'd think it would be some easy to get going, but what happened? You know, is the audience
yeah.
dried up? Like, there's no more youth interested in the books. It's all old guys through nostalgia or what?
Well, I think a lot of the time too is, yeah, it's all movie style. I freaking hate it. Yeah, it all, yeah, and A Tale of Two Robs. I'm just reading comments and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. After that,
I
I
was
lost my train of
Yeah,
well, I was talking about the audience. Is there any youth in the audience anymore?
Oh yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. I think part of that too is like there's so many options to just do your creator on stuff too. So when they get to the point where they could jump on a book and make it explode like that, they actually opt to just do their own thing instead of like
Yeah,
relying on Marvel and DC and stuff, because they don't have to anymore. And then of course it's not as big because it's an original idea.
yeah,
Um, yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson is the closest thing right now. I would agree. Everything he does kind of blows up, but he spends a lot of his time on creator owned too. He rarely does stuff for the big two. But his Wonder Woman was awesome. And his Transformers is really good. I've never bought a Transformers comic until Daniel Warren Johnson started writing it and drawing it. 'Cause he's a really good writer too.
yeah. I've heard that Transformers is good. Everyone's been highly recommending it.
Yeah, it's actually gotten me into the whole the Energon universe, they're calling it. So, because like, if you guys are familiar, the Robert Kirkman's company, he has the rights to
Skybound.
trans. Yeah, they have the rights to all the GI Joe and Transformers stuff. So they're doing a whole line called the Energon universe, which is where they're all in the same universe. So like, I just read the Cobra Commander sort of prequel, and he's hanging out with Transformers in it and stuff. And like at the end of the first Transformers series, Duke is in it, and there's also a new series they're doing called Void Runners, which also takes place in the same universe. It's like kind of deeper in space, but they run into Transformers. So I
Huh.
love it being all connected. And the most recent Transformers movie, spoiler alert, the one with all the like where they're all like actual animals and creatures and stuff. They at the end of that, it connects with GI Joe. So if they do another one, it'll have GI Joe
Oh
in it.
yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
Yeah, which I that would be so cool. I never thought it would work those two together, but everything they've done with it is actually really good. During Halloween, I filled a pumpkin full of toys and comics at work for the kid customers. Comics were the last things picked. Kids just aren't interested, it seems. Smiley
Oh,
J. That's a bummer. You know,
Yeah,
I the thing is too, I don't know if it's just comics, but it might be because it's not manga too. Because manga sells
Sure.
like hotcakes to kids. Something about the art style, and I don't know, or if
Yeah.
it's the size. I'm not
Well,
sure
when
what
there's
exactly.
there's so much to detract from a kid's attention these days, like with the YouTubes and the TikToks and all that stuff. Like when I was a kid, you'd had TV and radio and then, Nintendo video games, but comics were like this cheap way into awesome adventure stories that you could pick up a whole variety of. It was like this great way to just get into some different stuff. And now you can just stream endless shows and movies all day, every day, and watch YouTube till you die and doom scroll Instagram and TikTok. I'm just like, it's just, there's so many distractions, maybe. I think
Yeah,
that's a part of it.
that's the thing too. They're not cheap anymore. You almost
Yeah.
have to be an adult with a salary to afford comics. You know, it's
what?
like you can't.
It's beyond that too, man. You got to look at your bang for the buck when it comes to that. Like, am I going to buy a comic book for 5.99 or am I going to subscribe to Netflix for $15?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
the
for
manga
for the
too. Like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, well, yeah, you're. I see where you're going with. Like, it's the bang for the buck thing. Yeah, they're thick books.
Yeah, they're thicker books for the same price. You know, it's like all black and white, but shows that people don't care about the fancy color as much.
Right.
So
I just,
Half the time, the fancy colors are done like shit anyway.
yeah, that's the thing.
right.
It's overcolored, so
But on the flip side, I see a bunch of Kickstarters of people doing their books, and people are willing to spend money, like guys that are relatively unknowns that just, that run their own Kickstarters and do 40 to 50,000 each time for their own creator owned thing. And I'm like, people are willing to spend money. It's just, you got to find the audience somehow.
yeah. I wonder, like, a lot of that's like kind of what the comic book store public is too. Like, buying public is like it's kind of older people like us that are still buying it, because we
Yeah.
can afford it. But like, is it the same people as that are buying the manga and stuff? Is it the kids that are finding these Kickstarters? I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of
likely
doubt
not,
that.
but or if there's
Right.
maybe a mix or something. But yeah, I mean, if I did a Kickstarter, I'd kind of want to do a version where you sort of kick it off, but you'd also be able to eventually put it in retail stores too. I wouldn't want it to be a thing where you can only get it on the Kickstarter and then it's never available again for anybody.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. People have talked about if you don't get it here, you'll never get it again. And I heard some other creators talking about like, why would you ever not make your book available? Make it available all the time. Make it, put it out
Yeah.
there so anyone can find it. And then because you want people to find your work, don't cater to the collector crowd. Because who
Yeah.
cares about that? If they're just collecting it because it's rare, who cares about that? Collect it because you like it and make it
You,
available.
you can you can have your cake and eat it too when it comes to that sort of stuff. You overprint on your campaign so that you have more than you actually need to fulfill your campaign. Now you have an inventory of first print run issues of your book, and then you just do it in printings the way they used to: first print, second print, third print. It's not that it's never available again, it's that the edition that you're about to buy isn't as exclusive as the person that helped you out to begin with.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, and I think some people have done, like, in addition to that too, like you could just do like maybe a bigger size hardcover with more exclusives and stuff that's just for the Kickstarters. But then I know some people take that and they use it as sort of proof that it's a sellable product, and they can take that to like Penguin or something like that, and then they'll
Sure.
print like a soft cover version of it through them, because you've already proved it can sell. So
There
yeah,
you
a lot
go.
of options with that. Why can't Marvel and DC reprint old comics in those manga-sized books and put them in Walmart? It makes no sense how uninterested they are in creating an audience. Yeah, that Wiley said that. You're actually not wrong and not too far off, because DC is starting to do that now. I forget what they're called, but they're actual smaller manga-sized collections of books. I actually got one for Catwoman just recently. I might have it
Well,
right here, and they've done a few of them to test out. Oh yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna switch to my camera real quick.
I've always heard that
So there's
the
this.
reason.
Yeah, compact comics they're calling it. This is a Catwoman one that came out. There's like 6 or 7 ones they've tried now, but I think this is probably backwards for people. But yeah, and it's just like it's total manga sized, and it's pretty clear, simple art and stuff. But it's actually
Wow.
a nice, fun, quick read, and they're not too expensive. This one was $9 or
Well,
nine ninety
that's
nine.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's for like that's probably like 8 to 10 issues in here. So that's definitely along manga style prices. So I'm kind of hoping that stuff takes off. And I think Marvel's done a couple as well. So they're trying it out anyway.
I've always heard that the lettering was a problem.
Because
That they
it's
would just
shrunk
shoot it.
down.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that they would just shoot it down. They would just shoot it down to manga size and strip all the color out and print it like that and just print it in that format. But they're afraid that their readers won't go for it because it's not color. They're nuts about that idea. I don't.
Hmm.
But even if they do color it, one of the other problems they have is sometimes the lettering, especially in comics that have been done in the last, say, 20 years, like when Bill Jemas was in charge of Marvel and had everybody decide to letter lowercase letters and the
Yeah.
lettering got really tiny. Well,
Oh
you
yeah.
got nowhere to go with that.
But mangas still they work full size like 10 by 15 like us, do they or don't they? Or do they work at a smaller size before print? Like so
Well,
that the
look
lettering
at
wouldn't shrink down as much.
they might be lettering at a higher point size.
Oh, maybe just to
Like
compensate for that, yeah.
right, since like you just use less panels on a page like they do because you want them to be big enough to see.
Hmm.
Okay. And then same thing with the lettering. You're going to have to do the lettering a little bigger and uh, uh, and less of it. You know.
Yeah. That's one thing they gotta change too, as well as the layouts, is they gotta do less freaking lettering and talking in comics these days. I mean, they're like
Oh
paragraphs of
my god.
dialogue in these
Oh my
panels now.
god. Right?
It's unbelievable, man. Like, dude, the they did a new Ultimate Spider-Man series that came out, and this might be an unpopular opinion because it seems like the comic's doing well. But I bought the trade for it and tried to read it. I was kind of excited to check it out because the premise sounded cool. And there were old Ultimate Spider-Man is the one that introduced Miles Morales. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe they'll do some, lightning in a bottle again, and the premise sounded cool. It was based on Peter Parker Spider-Man and his family. He's married to Mary Jane and he has 2 kids that are like I think 8 and 10 or something like that. And he's working at the Daily Planet and Uncle Ben's still alive. He helps run the Daily Planet with J. Jonah or actually is Daily Planet the Superman one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
The
Daily
Daily
Bugle.
Bugle.
Daily Bugle, yeah. Same shit though. But yeah, and him and J. Jonah Jameson are running the Daily Bugle together, and Peter Parker's just a reporter there or photographer. But so I guess at that point, so he's at that age, he's an adult with a family, and then there's a thing that happens where he gets the Spider-Man powers and costume, and so that's when he starts being Spider-Man when he's got more to lose. So I thought that was actually really cool. But I read it, and dude, I was talking to my wife about it too. I was kind of complaining about it in bed while I was reading it. I was like, "What the fuck is with this? There's no Spider-Man in it." I mean, there's hardly any Spider-Man. When I was in bed with her, kind of bitching about it, I was like, I went through and I counted it. There's literally a 34-page stretch of no Spider-Man, just talking heads. There's a part where like they're
Uh,
talking in the office at the Daily Bugle, then they cut to Peter talking in a bar, and then they cut to a dinner party with Peter and what's the Green Goblin, his friend. Till I'm having a brain fart right now.
uh,
What's
uh,
Peter's childhood friend that becomes Green
um,
Goblin?
oh,
I'm so
I
stupid. I
I
know it
can't
easily,
believe
but
I can't think of it.
yeah, on the spot, I can't think of the most obvious name. Harry Osborn. Yes, thank you,
Oh my god.
Shakula. God. Yeah, and they're like at dinner with their wives, just having a talk, and that goes on for like 12 pages. It's unbelievable. And then they actually do show Spider-Man and Green Goblin together, but it's like another like 4 or 5 pages of them in costume, but just talking, not doing anything. And then there's like a page or two of action, and then it's back to more talking. And it's just like, what the hell? And the series is doing well, so I don't know what people want anymore, but I think it's terrible. I was on Reddit and I complained about that very thing too, and I got downvoted to hell, and people were like, "You suck," you know. So I was like, "All right, fine, have your boring ass shit."
A kid should be able to flip open a comic book. I mean, I just use this because the one that I grew up with, I grew up with McFarlane's Spider-Man. You flip
Yeah,
open any book that he's drawing and you're like, holy shit, is that cool?
yeah, yeah.
But
From
if
the
the
very
kid opens
start.
up, if you open up a book and it's just a bunch of people talking, what kid is going to go like, oh my God, that's cool. Why would I want to pick that up? It's that you got to grab them with the art.
Yeah. See, it's like Chico saying, it's all about the writing now. They don't care about the art. Like, if you read that Absolute Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man series I was just mentioning, if you read it as a novel, it would totally come across different. It'd probably be way more interesting as like a novel because you don't really write action as much in a novel, and it would just be good. Or as like a TV series or something. But as a comic, no. There's a reason comics are laid out the way they are. You can't just translate straight over to that. But
That's
Chuck
crazy.
said, I was reviewing a comic on Kick the other day. They had Ultron sitting at a taco truck analyzing a taco. Jesus Christ.
I mean, that sounds kind of funny in concept.
It kind of does, yeah, but they're probably taking it way too seriously and it's boring. What I was saying, yeah, problems comics have been feminized. This is all the talking heads. I mean, a little bit. I think they're trying to sort of cater to a lot bigger audience, but I don't think it's just making it boring dialogue that's going to sell it, I think they're doing it wrong. Because, I mean, there's the whole woke thing that's doing with comics and the comics, which I won't get into that, which some agree and disagree, but whatever point they're making, whatever they're trying to do, like for diversifying and stuff like that, I agree with. I just don't think they're doing it right. They're like doing it the lazy way, like back in the 90s when they would just like gender swap something to try to be inclusive. It's like, well, let's have a female Thor with boobs. Now we're all inclusive for women. It's like, no. I mean, it's not quite as shameless as that now, but I think it's just as pointless.
Yeah.
Patrick Pierce, hello. Got a new guy.
Patrick,
Do you
how's
know?
it
Oh,
going?
you know Patrick. Is
Yeah.
he an Australian guy? Are you in Australia, Patrick?
I don't think he is. Just Jeffrey and Nate, as far as I
Oh,
know.
okay. Out of context, Patrick, we were talking earlier about how many people tend to watch Rob's streams that are in Australia, including some that I've collected,
Right.
like Nadius, Nashis, which he might be showing up soon too. It's getting to be evening time when he shows up. What time is it now in Australia? Yeah, yeah. I think they were like 14 hours ahead or behind or something.
Yeah.
I think it's behind there. I forget how the time zone works. I used to know. I actually lived in New Zealand for 3 months a few years ago, and for work. And when I was trying to call back home to like talk to my dad, I was always getting screwed up because it's like a reverse day. So like you lose a day going, but then when you're coming back home, you gain almost an entire day. It really messes with your head.
Oh,
So,
man. Yeah, what's going on in that scene there, buddy? I love it.
yeah,
I'm
it's starting
already
to come
pledging to
together.
your Kickstarter.
Yeah,
You got me.
yeah. I'll start on the next one here. This guy's I'm going woke with this, so I'm showing everything. So this guy's got a couple girls with him, but this guy, he's gonna be sitting here with his arm around a little twink here, so a little twink boy, and then he's got a girl behind him. So
All the flavors of the universe.
yeah, well, I mean they're basically doing their skiing, you could call it the white powder. So doing enough of that stuff, you're pretty much open to anything, I think. Not that I would ever know. Never touched stuff because I've never, like Chuck, I've never done drugs ever in my life. So
Did we lose Chuck? Is he?
I had his screen up for a bit. Let me see. Let me go back. It looks gray. Oh, yeah, he froze up and then dropped out. So,
Oh shit. Oh.
yeah, it's cool. Also, how long should we go on this? I mean, let me know if you guys are getting tired and want to jump off too. We've been going about 80 minutes now,
Yeah.
so I didn't really have
I'm
anything predetermined. So,
no, I'm fine. I don't
okay,
have any, I don't have any problems, so I'm good.
yeah, kind of doing slow. Oh, Chuck's trying to get back in here. Okay, cool. We're waiting for you, Chuck.
Yeah, what the fuck, Chuck?
Have you seen the art in recent Zathana? I don't know Zathana actually. Is that
Doesn't ring a bell to me.
yeah? I don't know it. Is that the DC? That's not the DC Magic Girl, is it? Am I totally off on that?
Zatanna?
Oh, that's Zatanna. And maybe that's what he meant. Did he misspell Zatanna? I'm not sure. Okay. All right, so let's get back to the. Your boy Zach used to rip up modern Marvel comics, like physically ripping them.
I did that on one of my videos on my channel a long time ago.
You ripped up some of the comics,
I
like physically?
just one.
Oh yeah.
It was a Deathmate Gold.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
remember the Deathmate series? But it was like the gold issue, and
Okay. That's the Mark Silvestri one I had earlier, the silver
well,
one.
you had
But yeah.
silver, right?
Yeah. What was
Yeah,
who do
yeah.
the gold one?
It was nothing but the Valiant artists, and I'm sorry, it was so
Oh,
boring. And
yeah.
I think I had two copies of it, but I was with my brother, and we made it seem like on the video we just kind of chose to do it on the fly. But before we started recording, I was like, dude, when we get to the end of it, we should just get so pissed off we just literally rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my god, can we? I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this comic not once, so let's just destroy it. And
Yeah.
we thought we were hilarious. You know?
I think that'd be pretty funny. I mean, yeah. No offense to any of those guys, but I always found all the Valiant art really boring too. Some of the characters were pretty interesting, but I could never buy them because the art would just bore me. So,
Yeah, that was kind of it. And but even like I had Silvestri in that one, but inked by one of those other guys, it didn't blow me away. And then you had
yeah.
Barry Windsor Smith drawing some of those books, but it looked to me like his heart was not in it.
Was that the rune stuff? That vampire thing? Is that Valiant?
I
Is
think
that what I'm
that's
thinking?
Ultraverse,
Oh, okay.
I think.
So what was
And that
Barry?
rune looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was drawing like art was it Archer and Armstrong, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, I don't get it, because that was some of the earliest exposure to Barry Windsor Smith that I had ever seen was that Valiant. I'm like, what is the appeal of this guy?
Yeah.
Everyone loves him. I'm like, this is boring. But then I saw the Wolverine, the Marvel Comics Presents stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. I just said check out Javier Rodriguez art. He did Satana. That's Jeffrey Bates's mentioning. Okay.
And then another one of those Valiant books, one of my earlier videos that I did. I get these wild ideas that I think, oh, this will be funny. Is
Yeah.
it's just like a 2-minute video of me flipping through one of those books, one of those Valiant ones that were really boring, and I literally was just looking at each page, just going, ah, ah. And then pointing and laughing, and then just grunting and making sounds. I didn't say a word until the end. That I was like, "Thanks for joining me." That was it.
That's great. I want to see that. What is that?
I'll have to find it and send it. It's only
Yeah.
like 2 minutes long. I'm just like grunting it, like barf.
Sometimes that's all it deserves.
Yeah. And again, I don't mean any disrespect to the guys, but it was just more of like a gag that I thought would be funny. It was entertaining to me, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Oh wait, let's see here.
I wonder if Chuck's not able to reconnect. He's had connectivity issues.
Yeah, do you think it's just
before.
his internet connection went out? It's not really him having trouble getting on StreamYard or anything. It might just be internet.
Sometimes he'll be streaming on his own channel, and then sometimes it just cuts out on him, and
Yeah, I've seen that happen a couple of times. I have the Instagram
Yeah,
open. He hasn't mentioned anything, so it might just be that. Yeah,
unless
keep an
an
eye out.
earthquake hit or something, and
Yeah, he's in New Mexico. How far away is he from you?
he's not too far away. We're in the exact
Okay.
same time zone.
Yeah.
He's just one
He's
state away. I should drive to his house and go say hi.
yeah. I want to
I
go
just
visit
showed
too.
up, buddy. What's up?
I might. My wife's a flight attendant, so I can fly places for free now. I want to like go back to visit a couple people in Colorado, and my friend of mine lives south of Colorado in Castle Rock, and then I could just kind of keep going to New Mexico and
There you
visit
go,
Chuck or something. So, and then come
Andrew.
visit you too. I'll just do a big loop.
There you go. I'm having my character here, the Deadpool Bloodstrike stand-in. I'm having him before they get going. He's gonna because in this nondescript building that they're in, because Liefeld doesn't explain where they're at, so I don't have to either. But they just run into a wall of weapons, and I'm gonna have my character, my guy here, the Bloodstrike guy. He's gonna find Shatterstar's swords, the two weapons that he would carry,
Oh yeah,
like
the
the
double
double
bladed
bladed one
weapon.
and then the
Yeah,
shorter, thicker, wider one. And he's just going to think they're fucking awesome. He's like, I'm going to call this one Shatter and this one Star. And he's going to take and use them for a little bit just because I think they look awesome. Like they're just badass
yeah.
weapons. So that's what I'm drawing him finding here. He's like going, finds a wall of weapons. And, I'm going to do the whole like,
It's like, oh
there's
my
Captain
god.
America's shield and Thor's hammer and I don't know, whatever else, but then Shatterstar's swords. He's like, these are amazing. So he's going to pack those around.
Mr. D-Man said that's a Diddy party. I assume you're referring to this. Here's the Diddy party. Yeah, except everyone here is of age and not being forced.
Yes, no. Yeah, everything's consensual.
Yes, everything's consensual.
What you doing, Bubba? Come here. What you doing?
Can I have the canola bar?
Yeah, go ahead. You can have two. You guys can open them up.
Yeah.
My kids,
Guest stars.
right? They think Daddy was so neat when he started his YouTube channel because they're like, you could just be on YouTube, Daddy? They're like, you're a YouTuber. I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess technically, but don't get that excited. Daddy's not. But they thought it was pretty dang neat.
Yeah, if you like go to kids now who have their celebrities they want to meet, they're all like
Mr. Beast.
influencers and streamers and stuff. Yeah, they're not movie stars anymore. I want to be a famous VTuber. I'm gonna make a anime girl version of myself.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God.
gonna
Do it.
I kind of know how to make those, the 3D ones, and I kind of want to try to make one that looks like me to do just for fun.
Well, why
Just
not?
like, yeah.
Well, they have like on Instagram, they have like AI accounts of hot girls that are just taken off because people are like, this is awesome. And like, it's not real. And like, we don't care.
They're just AI. Oh my god.
Yeah, just AI girls, just generated on the computer. Like,
Ugh.
here we are. The instant they can plug AI technology into a walking android robot that looks like a hot girl, relationships are over.
Oh yeah.
Well, for guys anyway. I got my own AI bot girl. Are you kidding?
Well, it might be good for some people that just are
Some people
can't really
find
get out and
anything
meet
else.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
Maybe I saw this weird movie about AI that it's on Netflix. It's called shoot, I forget what it's called, but it stars the guy that played Sulu in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. John Cho?
yeah, I
Is that
think that's it. Is that it? Um,
something?
yeah, he was in the White Castle movie, that comedy.
Yeah.
Um, but they were actually talking about that. They're like, yeah, this AI could like they went to a really dark place. They're like, they're trying to talk about how the AI could be good for people and like getting to know people and talking to them and having relationships. And he's like, yeah, because it could help people that are doing this and this, or it could help an incel who's sitting alone in his room with a gun on the table. It's like, what? Whoa, whoa. I mean, that's might be
It's
right, but that's a real dark
kind of
place to
true
go.
though. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's no joke. That is like, why not? If it's a fake computer program, and but whatever. I'm kind of like, that's fine. Go
Yeah.
for it.
All right,
Not
Jeff
that I
has
want,
to.
yeah, not that I
Jeff,
want humanity to go that route, but
yeah.
I think it's going
Jeffrey
to happen
Bites has to
anyway.
bounce. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jeff.
I love
Thanks for.
I
Yeah.
love Colorado too, Jeff. That's where I grew up, actually. Once the population becomes dumb drones addicted to tech, the Amish will rule the world. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's fine.
Can the Amish use AIs for girlfriends since it's technology? Go see you, yeah. See you buffs. Brown and gold. Switch back to the
Yeah.
yeah, I think we might have lost Chuck for good.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. I was gonna try and message him on my other phone here and see if are you alive.
Yeah, see if you hear from
Yeah.
him. Tell him we're just sitting here staring quietly, waiting for him.
Yeah, we don't know what to do now.
It's like dead air. Yeah.
Right. Just send him an Instagram message. So
The rise of the machines attacking Chuck's connection. That's true. Although we weren't talking about AI yet when he was on, so maybe he's not a target yet.
I'm so glad I'm on vacation. I keep thinking like, oh, it's Saturday night, so tomorrow I'm gonna have to like do all my stuff because I got to get ready for work the next night. No, I don't. I don't have to go back to work for 8 more days.
Oh, sweet. That's a nice long chunk.
Yeah, I take just 5 days off work, and then the weekends before and after.
Yeah.
I've been at
I've been
my
off.
current.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I've been at my job long enough. I get 4 weeks. One more year, I'll be at 5 weeks of vacation, and
Fuck, that's awesome.
that's when they'll fire me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're like, you know what? We found a reason to get rid of you finally.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I've been off since Tuesday. I took Wednesday through Friday off, so it's been kind of nice. But I got to go back Monday.
back into the office, so to speak.
Well, Mondays and Fridays I get to work remote, which is nice. But Tuesday through Thursday I got to do that shitty commute in, which is 100 miles, 3 hours a day. So
Wait, seriously?
yeah, I drive to Blizzard in Irvine, and I live in Silver Lake, which is about 49 miles away, and it's on busy traffic. I mean, it's opposite commute, so the rush hour traffic isn't as bad as the other way. But yeah, it takes me about an hour and a half each way. It ends up being about 100 little. Oh, I take a detour to save a little time, but it adds miles, but it's quicker. It ends up being about 102 miles total each day that I drive. It's insane.
Gosh, that burns up miles on your car.
Oh yeah, my car's getting old too. It's like I've had it in the shop. It's got 150 something thousand miles on it already. It's a Camry, so it'll last, but
Yeah,
it's getting its ass kicked right now.
Toyotas
So-
are definitely worth it. But good Lord, man, I literally live 5 minutes away from my job. It's like if I could just drive there relatively quickly with no street lights and no traffic, I'd be at work in 3 minutes. Like literally, just
Oh,
zip
man.
down the road and there it is. It's so nice while it lasts, but
Yeah, I hate it because I'm also stuck there too. Like I have to leave. I can't leave for work before 9 a.m. And so I get there like around 10ish, and I can't come home before 7 p.m. because traffic's so bad that, I leave there. It takes between an hour and an hour and a half at the time I leave. But if I leave earlier, it's like 2.5 hours each way or more. So,
oh man.
yeah. Oh, Mark, you work in games too? Yeah, I work at Blizzard. I'm on their cinematics team there. I'm a previous artist. So I'm so jealous of a 5-minute drive, man, or someone that can like ride their bike to work or something.
Yeah.
I thought about moving closer when I started there a month before the pandemic, so I had originally intended to move closer, but now rents have gone up so much here
Yeah.
during the pandemic to now I can't even afford to move closer. I'm in a 2-bedroom house on a hill, and we got a pretty nice view. We got lucky that it was such a good deal. But now, if we moved to just a tiny 1 bedroom apartment closer to work or pretty much anywhere, my rent will go up like $600-700 a month from what it is now for a house to go
You.
move into a tiny 1 bedroom. You know,
Yeah. No way.
no. And God forbid if I want to move, like, and it's ends up being more than half of my take home pay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Completely.
So
So
like, yeah, and my wife's a flight attendant now, and it's got great perks. But she started just about a year and a half ago, and like the first few years, you're a flight attendant. Flight attendants can make really good money after a few years, but the first few years, it's a big pay cut. So we're a little bit lean in that regard too. We get a lot of cool perks, but the paycheck is kind of small. Of course, if you're a pilot, though, you make
yeah.
bank.
Right. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Rents are insane here in Utah too. It's just ridiculous. When I got this place, it was actually my ex-wife suggested it. She actually had a great. Her and I get along really well.
Yeah.
But I bought this mobile home. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath mobile home, but I had to like cash out a big chunk of my 401k. Had to
Yep.
pull out a loan because I had to own this place because I couldn't pay the lot rent and a house payment and child support. So
Oh yeah.
I couldn't do all three. I could do two. I can't do all three. And so, I pay my ex-wife child support and then I pay the lot rent here. But I own this place
Yeah.
and I'm incredibly lucky because it's mine. I own it. It's big enough for me. And it just works out great. But holy crap, if I had to like move or something like that and find somewhere else that it's so expensive. It's insane.
Yeah. Does I would assume it's like appreciated and valued a lot too, especially with all the work you've done upgrading all the stuff over the years. If you ever did
I
have to
I
move or sell
I
it or
think
something.
so. I mean because it's 40 years old,
Hmm.
this house. So I was kind of thinking about selling this one and buying a newer one in the same area that's like only a couple years old, so I don't have old house problems.
Yeah.
But I paid 5, 6 years ago. I paid like $32,000 for this, but for like this new one just around the corner here, that's it's the same 3 bedroom, 2 bath, but I swear it feels like half the size. It's so much smaller, even though it's the same size, so to speak. They wanted $90,000 for it. And I'm like, I paid 30 for mine. And I think I looked at the value and it's like maybe 45. I'm like, I'm just, you know what? I'd rather just stay where I'm at and just kind of put some work into it and just keep this rather than
Yeah.
I can't afford a house payment. I can't do all three. So
Yeah. Yeah. You better off just sticking it out. Cause
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Same here. We are actually we my wife and I spent a few years in recent years. We'd been saving money and stuff when we were talking to some real estate people, seeing if we could maybe buy a house here or somewhere around here. And dude, we eventually just gave up. It's impossible. I mean, to find like the cheapest we could find in freaking Southern California, anyway, where we're at. Of course, it's the most expensive area, but to find like a shack that wasn't even livable, to like that would take some work to like rewiring or like was missing entire walls and stuff, like
Yeah.
exposed to the outside, they were like 850 grand.
Holy Lord.
Yeah, to find even like a livable house that's still a fixer upper was still close to $1 million on average. So, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much anywhere in Southern California almost. It just gets more
Yeah.
expensive the
Yeah.
farther south you go.
Chocula says it's pretty cheap to live where he's at in Ohio.
Yeah. Don't let
I
that
would actually
secret out, it'll
consider
go up.
moving too. I would move if it wasn't for my children. You know what I mean? That are here with their mom, and so I'm going to stay wherever they're at. But if I didn't have the kids to worry about, I would seriously consider just relocating anywhere that's
Yeah.
cheaper.
I have, I mean, part of one of my goals over the next year or so is I'm trying to move out of Blizzard and go back to full freelance art, so that I can work remote. and move away. I could either move out of here because my wife's actually based in San Francisco, so she has to actually live out of town half, like 50% of the time, which sucks. Because she's kind of on call up there, so when she's on reserve for like 4 or 5 days, she has to stay up in San Francisco, even if she's not working a flight.
Oh wow.
So, and then she has to like commute home to hang out. So if we could live somewhere closer to her up there, like the Bay Area is not cheap either, but there's places south of the city that aren't too much, they're around the same as we're paying now or a little bit cheaper in certain areas. Could move there, or just even someplace cheaper in LA. Because I could move a little bit norther. There's like Burbank and North Hollywood, like can be expensive, but there's little pockets where you can find some good deals here and there. But that would add another half hour to 45 minutes to my already long commute if I stayed at
Oh
Blizzard. But if I'm working at remote, it opens up a lot more options to sort of live a little cheaper, save some
yeah,
money,
yeah, for real.
But it's kind of scary to go freelance right now, especially in all entertainment industry is just a mess right now. Like
Yeah,
everybody's out of work. So
yeah.
wow, 170K for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath in a nice neighborhood. It's valued at 170K. Wow, 170K. I don't think you could buy a studio here.
Yeah,
For,
nothing, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the cheapest studio you could find in the city would be at least 400K. But yeah, average like a 1 bedroom apartment averages starting at around 3,300 a month right now for just a little 1 bedroom apartment, which is insane.
I don't understand the housing market and how um the prices can keep going up and so many people can't seem to afford it. Like here in where I live, I'm not in Salt Lake City, Utah, but I am like 30 minutes away from Salt Lake City, and they're doing nothing
Mhm.
but building giant apartment complexes all over Salt Lake City, and they're so expensive. I'm like, who are they
Ugh.
building these for?
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Like
everywhere, just
they should be building
nonstop
it as
construction.
affordable housing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, I mean, it was hard for me because my ex-wife and I, we built two separate houses. We built one house and then we moved and built another house because it was actually weirdly cheaper to build a new house than to buy an existing one.
Yeah.
So we did that twice, but we went from like a $500,000 home, years ago, and then I moved out into a little 40-year-old mobile home, and it was a hard transition to make, just to be like, I felt like such a complete failure. I'm like, I went from this life to this life. I'm now in a junky old trailer, but perspective has been like, you know what? It's mine. It
Yeah.
keeps the
The big difference is it's yours, man. It's worth
It
it.
is mine, and no one can take it from me. No one can tell me to get out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the heater works, the air conditioning works. It's mine, and I get to come into this room and draw and make my artwork. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually pretty lucky. So
Yeah. Count Chocula
perspective.
said my house would be 700K in California. Your house is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Oh no, my friend. Oh no. Your house would be worth about 1.5 million in, and that's not exaggerating. Um, like for example, rent for the house I'm in now. If I moved into another house in any area, I live in a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house, but I'm renting. But it would be about starting 4,500 a month for rent, which is like,
Puke.
yeah, which is almost two
Puke.
grand more than I'm paying for, without telling you
Yeah.
what exactly I pay. But yeah, they like a 2 bedroom house on average is about a million selling here, in most places around LA. And if you go farther south to San Diego, it's even worse. So
That just is
790 a month house payment. Oh my god, I would be so loaded, man.
right.
Dude,
Yeah, my
790 is almost what I pay on gas. I pay 400 a month just for gas to drive to Irvine. It's insane.
my lot rent is slightly higher than that. You know what I mean? And I can
Yeah.
it's a chunk of my paycheck for sure, but I can afford it. And I know I'm lucky, that's why I can't have a house payment. I couldn't pay both. I couldn't pay a mortgage on the home and the lot rent and child support. So that's about the same I pay in my lot rent here. And I know that I'm lucky. That's why I'm staying here.
Yeah. My actual house payment is 500. Oh, I hate you. Oh, hey, Jimmy Reyes is here. What's up, dude? He said, "Hola, Chuck." We actually just lost Chuck. I think
Yeah.
his internet went. I sent him a message too on Instagram, and I haven't heard back. So I think either his internet went out, or maybe he had problems and was just like, "Well, it's getting later anyways. I'm just gonna go eat dinner and call
Yeah.
it." What's up, Jimmy? I've never spoken to you myself, but I'm actually using Jimmy's pencil brush right now. I love this thing.
Yeah, Chuck always talks up Jimmy's brushes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I use all of Jimmy's brushes. I use his pencils too, and then I have all his inking brushes, and then I have this Mamio inking brush that I use a lot too. But it's pretty much just that and Jimmy Reyes stuff. So thanks, Jimmy, for those amazing products. Especially the pencil one, I've actually been super stoked with that he released because I had a couple really good pencil brushes I would use in Photoshop, but I haven't used Photoshop in forever. I'm all Clip Studio now, and I haven't liked a single pencil brush I've ever found in Clip Studio until these ones. They all look just bad and cruddy. And even this one, this like graphite shader he has that actually looks like graphite shading. It's like I've never seen that in Clip Studio ever. It's beautiful. He said, "Did you say all dudes? And did Rob say his kind of comic?" But yeah, Jimmy was saying, yeah, it looks like Chuck lost his connection and might not be back. So,
I wonder if Jimmy's. I sometimes people join up the live streams and they don't realize that they're not current. They're like watching it the an hour past or something like that. I wonder if
oh
he's
yeah, it's not
referring.
on the live thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
that's true. By the way, if you
Okay.
want to join us, Jimmy, feel free. I'll send you a link
Oh, there you go.
if
Yeah,
you're
hello,
just hanging
Chuck.
out. Yeah, you can take Chuck's place. But yeah, this is just our first live stream together, just trying it out and working out the kinks. But it seems to be going okay once we got up and going. So.
Man, I'm looking at your drawing you're doing there, man, and
Oh.
all this figure work. You're just pulling it from your head, like.
Well, sort of. I mean, I'll show you what I have up open beside me though, just as reference. Hang on. So if I can pull it over to my screen, because I have these. What are they called? The Morpho anatomy books I have open.
Sure.
That give me good reference. I'll kind of let me share my screen again here. I have this open all the time while I'm working on it. It's let me see if I can drag it over. There you go. So I just took a bunch of scans from the Morpho books, and I have this open all the time. So I kind of just rough it out, but I'm kind of keeping these angles in mind, and I'll start filling in the muscles like that too. So, but yeah,
I'm
these
just saying,
Morpho books are great.
all your kind of skeletal structure figure work on your page there is looking really good. Like, because I haven't seen much of your actual drawing besides that Youngblood thing, and that looks really good.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of just practicing this stuff too, like in free time, like on my iPad and stuff. I'll like open up those Morpho books and just start drawing from them. Just kind of try to redraw some of those poses to learn the anatomy and stuff, and I'll do that as a warm up before I come in to do this stuff, so that I can kind of really feel it. Where do I go next? Gotta draw this guy's body on the floor too. This guy on the floor right before this, he basically put a grenade in his chest and shoved him towards this giant door, and it exploded him through the doorway, like just the pressure of it, and shoved his body through the door and mutilated it.
Nice.
So. But yeah, I was thinking about just since it's a whole comic parody, anyways. I was gonna go way stupid with it and do like this is the starting page, which is like kind of near the climax where there's the big battle in the book. But I was gonna start here and be like, it's the whole how did we get here? Then you flash back, a few
Sure.
months to how everything started. And I was just be like, let's do this one more time. Some freaking Spider-Man shit. But maybe that's too cheesy.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see. I think it might be kind of goofy to go with all the violence and stuff too. So it won't be as campy. Mr. D-Man, don't feel bad. I'm already a failure with having Tran. That's not true, man. Not true. Don't say that. Yeah, I wanted to work on this page on stream too, but I want to go back later too and try to get as many as the pages roughed out too before I go. Before I dive too into finished pages, kind of like
Right.
what you did with Master's End. I want to have them all just laid out so I can just pick pages and go without putting too much thought in at night after work when I go to work on them.
Yeah,
brain fried.
I find that's really helpful. That's what works for me.
Yeah, brain fried after work. You can't think. You can just sit here and get in the zone and doodle.
Yep.
Yeah, I have let's see, turn this back on real quick. If you can see here, I have the first 4 pages on here. It's like got this car chase going on, but like this first page here is exactly what I opened. This is like downtown LA, a car chase, and like it's exactly what I got that blender thing for.
Yeah.
And then there's actually I'm gonna do more show and tell. Are you able to see? Because you're on your phone. I don't know if you can even see this stuff well, if it's a pain because it's small.
I mean, I can see. Yeah, you got it blown up there. I can.
Yeah.
See.
There's this service I use through work that I was using for some work stuff that's actually really cool. It's a site called Shot Deck. You have to subscribe to it, but I got it through work, thankfully. But you can put in searches to bring up reference shots from movies and stuff. They use this a lot for like putting together like just kind of like pitch boards and stuff for sequences they want to do, and you can just kind of grab your shots out of here. But here, let me log in so you can see what I'm talking about here.
Jimmy Reyes, can you hear us? Are you current on the stream? Saying hey again.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Are you?
Yeah, make sure you're live there and not behind. He just popped in, so hopefully he's live.
Yeah.
Let's see. One sec here. Here's my decks. Okay, yeah. So I'll show you this here. So this is the shot. It's called Shot Deck. And yeah, you can just do searches. Like I have this one going for Punish, and it's just a bunch of reference I got for like car chases and stuff. Like really good angles of car chases through the city and stuff. And you can kind of just go through them and find a whole bunch of good ones. Like some great old movies too. Oops. Cancel. Like Death Proof had a really good car chase. And it's crazy because, I mean, I don't use this for comics, but it'll show you the whole color palette for it. It tells you like who the director was, cinematographer. It'll tell you what lens they're using, what time the shot. Like it's so detailed. It's like more than you'd ever need. But
yeah,
it's got some great shots like this Quantum of Solace one. This would be a great shot for a guy shooting at a car in a car chase. So good. But yeah, it's just inspirational to kind of go through and look at random shots too. Got some, of course, Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max. Have you watched Beyond Thunderdome recently, by chance?
I mean, not recently. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've seen it several times in my life.
It's interesting to go back and watch after seeing like Furiosa and the other one. Shoot, what was the...
Right.
Fury Road.
Oh yeah.
And the you go back and watch that one. And it's like so kind of cheesy and like it's almost like comedy in some places,
Yeah.
With Beyond Thunderdome. It's still great though, but yeah, I was like, wow, this is almost like comedy. But yeah. So yeah, here's the car chase. He's like got the guy shooting out the roof, and then he's looking through his rearview mirror. and the thugs are just kind of yelling at each other. It's I don't know if people can make sense of my doodles, but they're trying to shoot the car. It's like this thug who like screwed over their gang, and they're like chasing him down in his car, and he's trying to get away. So these three thugs, they're chasing him in his car, and he's pulling out a bazooka here, and he's gonna pull out the sunroof and shoot the bazooka here. So he looks back, he sees him, got the eyeball, he sees him behind him, shoots the bazooka, then comes in to hit the car, and then it cuts to the next page. It's a full page shot of just the whole giant car rolling towards them, and that's kind of what kills him and his daughter, and that's what turns him into Punish and needs to get revenge because this gang war like got his family killed. So
I like that last panel on that page on the right where the bazooka shot is arcing towards the car. That looks like it's a great angle, a lot of speed and motion and
cool. Yeah, you can see here too, like these little figures. That's Frank Barrister and his daughter who are about to die. So when it explodes, we cut to the reverse angle behind them, and it'll be a big full page spread.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, and then let's see. Oh, Jimmy said, Rob Norton, just out of curiosity, am I getting those CC comic books? Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy, if you're hearing us currently, I'll let you have those things. I can send those to you. I've had a couple of people on the comment section on that video say, send them to me if you don't want them. But you were the first one that I was like, if anyone wants them, you get them.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those continuity comics. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm never going to look at them again. I'm like, dude, I don't want 40 or whatever, however many books just sitting in a box until I die. I'd rather go to somebody who, wants them. So, Jimmy, if you can hear me, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Oh, hey, just like we said, Noxious is here. What's up, dude? We're like, it's probably about time that Noxious is going to be up and around.
Yeah, you did literally just say that. Nate, the other Australian fella had to bail. He had to take off, so.
Now, make sure you get the Australian accent and not the New Zealand accent.
Yeah, I would. I don't know how to do.
I listened to so much radio commuting to work in New Zealand. I actually got really good at the New Zealand accent for a while, imitating it. I can't do it anymore, but I can actually still really easily tell apart us Aussie or Kiwi. So
that's awesome.
But I didn't used to be able to tell, and like I'd ask people like, "Are you Australian?" They're like, "No, I'm a Kiwi. I'm no Aussie." They'd get offended and stuff.
Whenever I hear an Australian accent,
the
thing I immediately default to in my brain. Do you watch South Park?
Yeah, I haven't watched it in recent times, but I've watched lots of it. Yeah.
Have you seen the one with the Russell Crowe? The Russell Crowe episode where
I don't remember.
He did it's like oh my God, what's that Australian wilderness guy that died from a stingray shot? What's his name?
Yeah, it's the same thing as Green Goblin. I'm like on the spot here. I can't remember the most obvious names. Cat, help us out again.
Yeah, but they have Russell Crowe doing a show like that. It's called
Steve Irwin.
Around the World.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Steve Irwin. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
But it's a Russell Crowe thing where he's going around and he's like traveling to different countries to see how people like to fight. And then he travels to China. He's like, here in China, they're known to grow up to be 5 feet tall and like to kick with their legs when they fight.
That's good. Is that kind of a recent one, or is that one of the real old classics? No, it's
a couple of years old because there was that whole thing where Russell Crowe was known for getting into a lot of fights with people, and so if you should look that up and watch, because it's the kids trying to watch a TV show or something like that, and they keep getting kicked off their TV and they have to go find something else, I think. But anyway, it's the thing they keep coming back to, so they keep turning the TV on, and it's back. And it just cuts back to Russell Crowe, and the first thing he does, he's like, "Oi! Now we're gonna go to New York City, and this is the Bronx, and they're wearing gang colors here. They love a good fight."
I'm gonna have to go search that.
Funniest thing you can even just search up on YouTube like South Park Russell Crowe, and it has just those clips in like 3 parts. I'll just watch those over and over. He's got a little sidekick that's literally a tugboat It's just a tugboat, and he just honks in the background. He's like, ooh, ooh. It's impossible to explain, but
Yeah.
I highly suggest you watch it. So whenever I think of Australians and stuff like that, I default to the Russell Crowe episode of South Park. It's so funny.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Nick Clark says it's at least 15 years old.
Yeah. Mark Domowich too saying, "Are the chat streams merge?" Yes, actually. Well, we were streaming to Chuck's channel too, but I think his internet went out. But yeah, we're on my channel, Rob's, and Chuck's all simultaneously, and you can't see it on screen here right this time, but all three chats are. We can see them all together for us. So if we're answering some question you don't know, that's where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, hello, the Montoya 76 as well.
Yeah, highly recommend you seek those. I bet you will laugh your butt off. And
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I kind of crave those ones again because I mean, when they just do something sort of off the wall, goofy like that, like all the kind of recent ones are all about. I mean, it's funny, but it's all about the like Tegrity Farms and all that stuff in the
yeah,
town. I got a little tired of it. It was funny at first, but they've been kind of milking it too long.
and that's kind of funny because those South Park guys will seem to like stumble onto something that's really funny and then move on. Like we did
Yeah.
the one episode on it, and we're on to something else. They try to stay topical, but yeah, I don't watch current. I haven't seen them in a long time. It's just these ones I used to catch, and now I've noticed that you can stream South Park on Hulu, and I just discovered that 2 nights ago. So I watched like 5 episodes in a row. I was showing my
Oh,
roommate, and
nice.
she's like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I think, you know, South Park, right? And she's over there laughing her butt off. I'm like, "See, it's funny."
You know, but Jimmy, yeah, Chuck left. He not intentionally. I think his internet went out, and we haven't heard from him. So I think either he just kind of gave up and bailed for the night, or his internet's still down because we even messaged him and he's not answering back.
Something
So
crashed, maybe his
yeah,
computer or whatever he uses.
yeah,
So it's kind of a bummer. It was nice to. I didn't get, I've known Chuck for about a year now, but I've never got to speak to him. You know,
yeah,
I mean, he's been on, like, I've been doing my live streams and he types, so, or I'd watch his, but to like actually speak to him one on one, like live,
yeah.
I'm like, this is the first time. And so
It's
it was kind of nice for a minute, but now he's gone.
yeah. Same time. Same thing with me actually, because I mean we're such old friends, but we had almost a decade where we actually weren't in touch, just live stuff, and then a few years ago we got back in touch through email and stuff, and we have each other's numbers and stuff, but we've never really called each other. It just kind of works better sharing through email and stuff, like just like,
Yeah.
hey, look at this cool comic or look at this cool air art, but that was kind of one of my excuses to want to do this though too, because I did want to kind of get on and talk with Chuck without typing it at some point again too, and just talk comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck is having technical difficulties.
But yeah, Jimmy, I hope you were able to hear me before, that, yeah, I'll get those comics to you. I'll just have to get an address of where to send them.
Yeah, I think he said oh wait, did he answer that? Oh yeah, he said thanks. So I think he heard you
Oh,
earlier.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I
Earlier in
missed
the
that.
chat.
Okay, awesome.
Dude, come on. Don't miss a single chat. This is important.
Yeah, don't let them skip by you.
Oh, he said his PO box. Do you have his PO box?
I think he said it's available on his. He said it's somewhere I can just look it up. So
Oh,
I'll find it out, or I'll reach out to you, Jimmy.
yeah.
In fact, I got those books sitting right next to me right here.
I love those blades that you've drawn on that guy when he found him. The Shatter Star blades. Shatter and Star.
Yeah. He finds them on this wall and he's like, oh my God, because he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any weapons. And I wanted to give him something unique to have to fight, because he's going to use these weapons to fight that Kill Snap character that I was drawing the other day, the Wolverine ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to chop up Kill Snap with these things.
Kill Snap. Wait, is Kill Snap your guy? Or is that...
No, well, it's a parody in the book.
His name... So that's a Rob named character, Kill Snap.
Well, sort of like right here at the last, well, not the last page. The last page is the dick in the jar,
Oh
but the
yeah.
last page with these characters, they end up facing off against some girl with a bow and arrow, a giant robot, and then a character from the original Youngblood called Deadlock. So I took the word dead and made it
Oh
kill, and then
yeah, yeah,
lock. I'm like snap,
yeah,
like a padlock that
yeah,
snaps
yeah.
shut. So it's kill snap. And in the
Nice.
second follow up issue, they flat out make fun of how he's a Wolverine ripoff, like in the actual Liefeld book. The Bloodstrike character is making fun of him as being a third-rate Wolverine knockoff. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna lean into that. Make
Pretty
it.
much
So
is. My
that's
God.
yeah. So that's kill snap is deadlock.
I like it. Yeah, it's like my dude, my punish guy. He's a Frank Barrister. Did I tell you that part?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is the British for castle. So,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah, it
funny.
means it's like the way what British call castles. Or I think like a barrister thing.
Okay.
I was looking at the
Brilliant.
thesaurus. I'm trying to
Right.
find a way. He's not really going to show up in this book because it's kind of more of an origin. But if I ever did a follow up, I have an idea. But I want to bring Microchip in. I loved the Microchip character in it, especially in the early days of when Will Spertashi was drawing it. He was one of my favorite characters, and
Yeah.
Frank Castle got his son killed and stuff. But I want to bring him in, but I can't think of a good name for Microchip that kind of would tell you who it is. You know?
Yeah. I was trying to think of like what's a good alternate name for like a microchip or a computer
Yeah,
part or something like that.
yeah. I've been trying to think something that's clever but not obvious that hasn't already been done too. You know, like can't
Yeah.
call him like
Yeah.
bit or something. You know, there's some other ideas I had, but they're way too dated too for modern technology.
Well, I don't know. Going backwards, that could be funny. Some kind
Yeah,
of ancient piece, like I don't know. I'm trying to. I
call
don't
him
have
circuit board or something, motherboard or
circuit
something.
board. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Actually, motherboard would actually be cool. It's like his hacker name. I'm
That's not bad.
motherboard. Yeah.
Yeah. I come up with something I thought was I think I was talking about on a live stream. You might have been there where in the original comic to this, there's a satellite that they call Rome. That's the satellite that activates the transporter system that beams these people around. I'm like, well, mine's going to be an acronym SCOTTI, Scotty, to beam them around to transport them. So when they
Oh
use
yeah,
their little
perfect.
communicators, yeah, they're gonna like Scotty, and then the robotic voice is gonna be like a Scottish. She's like, I can't do a Scottish accent, but it's gonna
Yeah.
like, it's gonna respond in
Oh,
Scottish
good at
accent, and they're like,
it. Beam it out, Iron
yeah,
Captain.
yeah, exactly. Beam me. It's an acronym. I come up with some kind of
Yeah,
acronym for it. Um,
yeah. Did you
I'm
use
trying
the
to remember
Scotty
what the
Captain?
yeah.
I'm not
It's
listening
like
back to my imitation of a Scottish accent on the recording later because it'll make me cringe. Oh yeah, we got some ideas coming. Bit, chip,
transistor.
wire, transistor. Yeah, transistor actually reminds me of a car or something too. More so, like I've thought of chip or like I've thought of bit, but those are a little too short. I want it to be a little longer, like microchip. That's a couple of syllables too to match to it. So, like motherboard is 3 syllables like that. A sock. Oh, sock could be interesting too. Is that too obscure? SOC. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Is it sock or sos? Um, I always liked I was I always liked Sysop too, that name for the old BBS days. I used to run a
Well, the thing
BBS in
is
Colorado.
yeah, the thing is you don't have to think of it right now. You can like let it stew, and I bet you something will just pop up, and you'll be like, "Oh, perfect," because you got time to,
Yeah, I got time.
you know,
I have
workshop that in your brain.
I have an entire 37-page comic to draw in the meantime. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I was
exactly.
gonna
That's what I've kind of learned.
yeah.
I've had times where I'm like, I've got to think of this thing. I'm like, no, you don't. That's 3 issues away. That's forever. Something will come up. Something will come. Like you'll think of it. Trust me. Just move
Yeah.
on. Do
Yeah.
the stuff that's relevant. Don't get like
You can't get hung up on
frozen.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
I
thing.
know, I have
Don't
a buddy of mine who's a brilliant artist, but he gets completely frozen in time because he's like, I have to make this perfect. I have to know all the backstory and the lore and the culture and the foods they eat and the kind of underwear. I'm like, no, you don't. Just draw the fucking comic, dude. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I have to have it all figured out. I'm like, you know what? You've been telling me this for the last 2 decades since we knew each other in high school. Make a comic book. Just draw.
Yeah.
Keep it vague and you'll figure it out. Like stuff just comes to you while you're making it. It's been my experience. Like you just kind of start figuring it out. Just go, just make it, just go, dude. Make
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Just get going. Same with this. Like, I was trying to learn to draw more analog again too, and like I was maybe gonna do this analog, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna spend the time warming up. I just need to get started and fricking do it. No more excuses. Just I'll do it digitally. That'll get me started. So
There you go.
doing it. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Ray, you were talking about what site is the car chases? I think you're. Here, let me go back. Yeah, it's this one, Shot Deck. I think you can get a free trial to get some stuff on it. They'll give you a couple weeks, but yeah, when you go in and it has mostly movies, TVs, and now they've been adding music videos too. And once you log in, you can just go in and browse the titles here. Come on. Whoa. Things are getting slow. There we go. Yeah, and you can search based on like media type, genre, like action stuff. And then you can actually add in search terms to like action here, and then you could add action and like sword, fight, add all these keywords and start building it up as you go and get more specific, and then you start getting these ones. And as you go through, you can click them down here. It has a quick add to, you can make what they call decks, which are like little folders, like a Pinterest type folder, collecting all your shots you like from it. And yeah, they're great. So many good ones. I mean, it's just, I like to go through here sometimes just to get inspired too, just some ideas, just browsing. And man, they just recently, about 6 months ago, started including music videos too, which is super awesome because, I mean, there's so many good shots in music videos. Oh yeah, Rebel Moon Part 1. One of the only good scenes from Rebel Moon, let's say. No offense, people liked it, but man. Did you watch the Rebel Moon Zack Snyder movie, Rob? On Netflix?
I did not. It did not look interesting to me, and then all the reviews I watched on it didn't sell me on it any better. So,
yeah, the trailers are better than the movie. I didn't like
so what
it.
you're saying is I didn't miss anything?
I don't think so. No. It's weird. I'm sort of torn too, because like, Crypto Miner, Creative Forge Academy said that actually could be good. Crypto Miner, because that's very relevant too.
That's a cool name.
And crypto miners are, yeah, that's a good one. I'm writing that one down for sure.
You know what? Just real quick, I see that Chuck's stream is still up, and he wrote in his chat that he's trying to get back in.
Oh, let's see.
I
saw he wrote that a while ago, but yeah, it's maybe just. Oh, so maybe he lost connection, but StreamYard is web-based, so maybe it
so it's still
keeps it running. Because I think if he clicks the link, it'll just log him back onto his stream like it was before. I don't know if there's a way. I think I can go through and manually drop him off. I don't know if I should or not, though, or if we should just leave it going.
I mean, maybe it'll help keep people interested on his channel a little bit while we're still going. I don't know.
Yeah, no reason to turn it off, I don't think, so I'll just leave it going. So.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, if he's not here, he doesn't deserve to have us. No, I'm just kidding. No, but this was fun. Hopefully we can do this, maybe a semi-regular get-together.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm on board.
Yeah. It's easier for us to chat without typing it all in chat too.
It is. It's so much easier to not have to stop and type.
Yeah. Like last time, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to hang out with you in the background while I'm organizing the office. And I spent the whole time sitting at the computer typing.
I know. I felt bad. Like, you don't have to respond to this.
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just kind of doing stuff at my desk too. But then after that, right around the time you were wrapping up, I was about to say like, all right, I got to actually do some stuff. But then you're like, oh, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
It was more just cleaning out space because behind me here, I just had like stacked up boxes and stuff. So papers and clutter. But that's how I came across one of the old comic boxes too that had that Silvestri stuff I was looking at. So. Mr. D-Man said Rebel Pimp Cane. that a name for a microchip?
Yeah, I wasn't interested in that Rebel Moon. And then
Oh,
was he?
Rebel.
Did he
Oh,
make
that's what he's referring to. Yeah.
that sequel? Did he make a sequel, or was gonna make a sequel? Like,
Well, it was 2 films. It was part 1 and 2, and they both came out
oh,
like 3 months
okay,
apart or something like that.
yeah.
And yeah, it's
I just heard him get just roasted. I'm like, well, I mean,
yeah,
there's something to be said for like judge for yourself. I 100% get that, but I'm like, it doesn't sound like anything I'm interested in anyway. And
yeah.
Zack Snyder's
It's
done stuff I've really enjoyed. It's just you got to put him on the right project, and I don't know. Superman was
yeah.
not it.
He I've found his best stuff is when he adapts something rather than when he writes it himself, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
I've realized that of the stuff I like of his, it's the stuff he adapted that I like more. Like I really like Watchmen, I like 300 and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
yeah. I'm torn too because I've kind of hung out. I worked on Justice League. So in my what I do previs, so we tend to be pre-production. So we're kind of there early on, sort of blocking out shots for him, and so he'll kind of come in and sit down with us like a crew of like 5 people, and like kind of just bang out his whole idea for the story. And he told us his whole story for Justice League, which was originally going to be a trilogy, which would have been really cool. Well, I actually it would be cool if he'd done a trilogy, but I honestly didn't really like his story idea for it, and it was like I can't really talk about it on stream because of NDAs and stuff. But it wasn't
Yeah.
really great. So, um, but Zack Snyder has got to be one of the coolest, nicest people I've ever worked for, too. Though he like
Sure.
I totally support the guy 100%. Even if I don't like his movies, I'm kind of like, well, I hated it, but keep going, man. You're awesome. So I don't know. He's such a good
I've
dude. Yeah.
I've still to this day never seen one version of that Justice League. I just never bothered.
Yeah.
After watching the Batman v Superman, I was like, ugh, all right, that was. I
Yeah.
mean, it was okay. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but
Yeah. Shugla said
then
he
I
loved
just,
Man of Steel, which I actually do. I love Man of Steel actually quite a bit, except for the part where his dad dies. But I love the whole rest of the movie.
oh, I could just go on. Like his dad sacrificed himself for no reason, for a
Yeah.
dog, for a son
Yeah.
that needed. There's no being on the planet that needs support more than this Clark Kent, this alien superpowered being. And his dad let himself die to save a dog. And then there's a part where his dad was like, the Clark as a kid was like, what should I have done? Let them die? Like the
Yeah.
kids that he saved. And the dad was like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, and even if he did have to sacrifice him like that, like the way the scene played out, he didn't need to use the superpowers to save his dad. He had time to run out there and rescue his dad and walk back. It was so
Yes.
drawn out.
Yeah, I'm fine with the dad dying, but like make
Yeah.
it make sense. Ugh. I
Yeah.
remember I was so excited for that because I'm a huge fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman, and I want a good Superman. I want the bright, glowing, magical hero of Superman that he's supposed to be. And I was so excited for that. And I was
Yeah.
sitting in the theater going, I enjoyed Thor 2 better than this Man of Steel movie. And I could have got up and walked out of that Man of Steel and just been fine. I didn't, but I remember sitting there thinking in the theater while I'm watching, I'm like, I am not invested in this. I could bounce right now. And I've
Yeah.
never done that to a movie. I've never, even the worst, I've seen that old school Dungeons and Dragons in the theater. You remember that movie with
Yeah.
Thora Birch and it's just the worst thing ever committed to film. And I
Yeah,
sat there
it's so
just
cheesy.
laughed at it. And I'm like, I didn't even think about leaving that movie, but I thought about walking out of Man of Steel because it was not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Long boxers. He liked Zod. Yeah. I liked Zod in that. Oh, Jimmy's saying, how are you guys multi-streaming? I'm using StreamYard. So I don't know if you've used StreamYard, but I paid for a month of the StreamYard, the paid StreamYard, just to try it out with us. And the way it works is I can start a little stream and then I can just send a link to anyone and they can log in and stream from there without even needing an account. But any of the people I invite to the stream, if they want to stream to their own YouTube, all they have to do is create a free account. They don't have to pay for anything, and you can just put in your YouTube stream and it'll co-stream to yours at the same time. So which is pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
which is
So
what we were all doing, right? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so like before we launch, we can all get in like this sort of green room studio setup, and I can create the live stream and it'll put the like coming soon on our YouTube pages, but before we actually go live, everyone can just kind of log into their YouTube and it'll list it all as like starting soon, and then when I hit live, it just simultaneously goes live for everyone. And it shows the chat for all of us together here in the thing. I use before this I used OBS Studio, which I think is probably what you used, Jimmy. I'm not sure. I've watched your stream a few times. I think it was OBS maybe, but you can actually stream OBS into StreamYard. And I'm trying to do that because that way I can actually show the chat for everyone, because I can also simultaneously stream to Twitch and like 2 or 3 other places. And yeah, so like you can use a virtual camera and OBS to send as my display to StreamYard, and that way I could stream to all those different places, but no one can see the chat from all the different places, so people don't know who you're talking to. But with OBS, I can make a little window showing the chat that we're seeing so everyone can see it. But there's no way to do it in StreamYard, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's saying I wish we could see the merge chat. Yeah, I'll definitely have that fixed by the time we do this again, because I almost have it working. There was just a problem with some audio stuff wasn't working coming through. So once I figure that out, I'm sure it's just a setting I gotta set up, test out. Then it'll be working, and we'll have merged chat for all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably confusing because there's people on all 3 different channels talking.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
They're answering a question that no one asked. What the hell?
Yeah, I guess StreamYard makes it simple, but it's not super flexible. But I guess that's kind of the point, because it's meant for a lot of it's marketed towards businesses and too that aren't really savvy on like OBS Studio and streaming like that. It's more just like to have a business do like a webinar or something, for like 100 people, and they can just open the web browser and turn on their camera and go. They don't need to know all this technical setup stuff. They don't have to worry about mic, they can't use filters for mic compression and background noise, all that stuff that OBS does. So, oh, you use Streamlabs. Okay. Yeah, the way the interface is set up, it's a little bit like Streamlabs, where it's just kind of a bunch of buttons that'll automate stuff for you. It's just way more limited. So, and I know Streamlabs is based more on the OBS sort of structure. But I think so. Streamlabs is built off of the OBS sort of base, right? I think if Streamlabs has a virtual camera you can do there too, you might still be able to use it, Jimmy. So you could use all your pre-made sort of layouts, and you just set it up to send as a virtual camera, and then when you run StreamYard, you can just like StreamYard shows your webcam, but then it also has a present option that will let you share your screen. And instead of sharing your screen, you can just choose that virtual camera and put it up there. So, yeah, D-Man's saying, yep, I assume because you've done that. So, yeah, the only problem I had is, like, for some reason, some of my audio wasn't coming through correctly. So, just got to figure out that one setting. Good to go. Well, I'm thinking I might wrap up in maybe about 5 minutes, though, because I'm starving. I need to go get some food, and then I might jump. Yeah,
you're almost 2.5 hours in. I was going to go out there and interact with my children for a little bit. So
yeah, we did a good test though.
yeah, this has been very fun. I am definitely down to do this more for sure. So,
Creative Forge Academy, Jason. I had a YouTube on autoplay, and this live stream came up. How does it? No, I know you. Is Zach Hennessy from the old hood? Yeah, Zach Hennessy and I are old friends. Like, we used to draw comics together in our early 20s. And actually, we both know Chuck Gibson. We both used to kind of go hang with Chuck and work with him and stuff. And then I kind of stuck with him a little bit longer after we kind of separated. But Zach and I did a couple, like, indie published comics together. And, yeah, he's a cool dude. He still lives over in Colorado, though, but we're still in touch.
nice.
But yeah, so that's probably why. Yeah, Zach, Chuck, and I we've all known each other for probably 20, 25 years now. It's freaky how quickly time passes. So
right.
yeah. Let's do one little preview here. So yeah, this is my current one, like I was saying. This is opening page to my Punish comic. Anyone who isn't on there yet, I'm gonna start streaming pretty much every page I draw from this to a certain degree as I go through it. It's about 37 pages total. And if you go to Punish Comic on Instagram, you can start. I'm gonna start posting there. I've got a couple pinups there to start. And yeah, this is the opening image with him with his bloody machete and a mutilated body here, and then there's just a drug orgy going on with these thugs here, as you can see the little sex scene. And then I haven't drawn it yet, but in the foreground too, there's going to be like a table here with just like pills and a big giant pile of coke and stuff, you know. So just a crazy party because they actually just it's kind of a Punisher parody, and they killed Punisher's family, and he's been in a coma. But then a few months later, when he comes out of his coma, they find that when he wakes up, he sees that these three thugs that killed him got acquitted because they have rich lawyers on their side because they're part of like a big family gang. So they got acquitted, and they're back at their compound, basically celebrating, having an orgy, and then he shows up to punish them. So
Nice.
so yeah, that's the start there, and then yeah, back to Rob's here. One last look.
Like,
Yeah, Rob's.
so I finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Go,
basically finished. Let me back the camera up here a little bit, but that's basically finished pencils for this page one of that one. I had to finish up these top two kind of images, but so that's kind of, I wrapped that up, and then I started doing the rough pencils of the next page here.
Yeah. That page is looking awesome too. I didn't see you finish up the first page because I was kind of doing hosting stuff. I missed it, but that's looking cool. I like that upper corner panel too. It's like it really pops.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it comes out the way that it, I got an idea in my head of what I want it to be like, and I hope it comes across that way. And again, if Chuck, I assume Chuck's gonna ink this. We'll see, but I bet it'll look awesome when it gets put together. So
yeah,
I'm kind of getting excited for it. I mean, I've always been excited for this stupid project of mine, but now that I'm getting started and starting to see it visually and coming together, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. You cranked too. You laid out that whole page during the stream, that whole second page. God damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was my rough layout, but I kind of changed up a little bit. I decided to change the big, long, skinny vertical panel. But that's what I do. I lay them out on these things. That way a lot of the questions are answered. So you can just sit down and just start going and start figuring out, stuff. So yeah,
I like your decision on that first panel. The one you did looks better for sure.
A little better. That. Yeah, I was trying to think of something big and I'm trying to do my best version of an old Image comic style. I don't think that way, but I'm trying to do a version of that, so it's all big, flashy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I think you're nailing it. Oh, yeah, Creative Forge Academy. Yeah, dude, you do know Zach and us. He's like, I like how you're doing a rabbit design. Is that an homage to the Newcomers book? So it's funny, not intentionally, but yeah. So for context, Rob, Zach, who I knew, him and I did a comic book together in the past. It was through a place called Newcomers Publishing, and it was a black and white print that they did. And
I did too.
Oh, did you? For Newcomers?
Newcomers Publishing?
Holy shit! Are you kidding me? You're gonna have to bust that out next stream.
What's the name of the guy who ran that?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have an issue back. I'll look it up. Like next time we do a stream, do you have a copy of yours?
Somewhere. If it's this, unless there's two different guys that made two different things called Newcomers Publishing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to compare. I'll pull mine out too. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll pull it out and shoot you a message to see if it's the same guy.
Was he a guy based in Utah?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he printed
because we never met him.
Story of mine.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Called On the Edge, and I only ever seen one copy of it. My older brother somehow was able to get a copy of it. I never even got an issue.
Oh, okay.
And holy shit, I've got a few kind of like Newcomers Publishing things that I've kept, and the one with my story in it, I've actually got it on the channel. I reviewed it like a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, not to derail your story, but you say no one knows Newcomers.
Yeah, dude, that is super crazy, man. It was like fate that we ended up hanging out then together. I can't believe that. I'm not sure where it is, but I've seen it recently. I can dig it out before next time we do this. I'll show it to you. It's pretty funny to look at. I did like it was just some old elf that went through a portal into like modern day New York or something, and Zach had his whole like kind of fantasy magnum opus he was doing. I think that's what we called it. It was called magnum opus, and it was our we each did half of the issue together of our own story. We did like two or three together, and then I think I kind of bailed on it, and Zach did one more issue all himself on it, if I remember correctly. But yeah, very long story. Back to the original question is, we had this thing going on between us. We would always throw in some sort of rabbit character in the background or something, in all the stuff we draw, and like especially in that, there was always a rabbit that we'd throw in there. And so it's like been a long running theme like all our lives somehow, and it keeps coming up. And I think it's just ingrained in my head because I didn't even think of the rabbit thing till now when Creative Forge mentioned it. But I was like, yeah, it's the rabbit again, just like with Zach. So yeah, strange
That's,
synchronicity tonight, like you said. Yeah, same here,
um,
Jimmy. Thanks for hanging out. It was good to see. I'm definitely a fan of yours, so it was kind of cool seeing you watch our stream. But yeah, we're about to jump back to drawing too. This is just our recap. And yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of that guy that sorry, I'm still stuck on this
yeah, no, I wish
e-commerce
I could
thing.
remember too, but I'll if I find the
Because
issue, I'll text you or over Instagram and say the name, see if it rings a bell. But I do pretty sure he was in Utah, so it's got to be the same guy. There
it
couldn't be
has
two
to be. I've
newcomers
met
from
him
Utah.
personally. The guy's got a terrible reputation now. And he
Oh
does
yeah.
these Paula Peril comics that are all about this girl that gets caught and trapped in bondage nonstop. That's
Oh my
all she
God.
does. Is she gets caught. It's like a Tomb Raider thing, but she gets
Yeah.
caught. She's tied up, and a bunch of creepy dudes are like looking at her like sexual fetish stuff. It's really gross.
Oh, weird.
Um,
I never met the guy in person. We only talked to him like on the phone and email and stuff. So, because we were
yeah,
in we were in Colorado, so I don't even remember how we
James
originally got in touch
Watson.
with him. That sounds familiar. I think that's got to
Yes,
be him. That sounds familiar.
yes,
Oh man, I'm gonna have to drop Zach a note too. That's freaking hilarious, man.
that's
Jeez, I
funny,
can't
dude.
believe that.
Yeah,
If we'd lived in the same states, you and I probably would have been friends back in their 20s, drawing
probably.
comics
Yeah,
together.
for
Yeah,
real.
I'm sure we would have been in the same circles, knowing that now. So,
Right, right.
well, it only took 40 something years to match up.
Something like that. Yep.
So cool. Yeah, and then anyone who's watching a replay, Chuck was inking a page from Brett Booth's Patreon that was really nice too. So rewind and check that out too.
That's
But
looking
yeah,
really good.
I'm gonna hit end here and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah,
Thanks for everyone for watching and thanks for hanging out, Rob. This was fun.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Catch y'all later. And it's gonna play a little outro when I go too that I have for my streams to get ready. All right. Catch y'all later. Bye bye.